I'm tired of
destroy.
From official sources is to tell private citizens to stay inside their homes behind locked doors. Do not venture outside for any reason until the nature of this crisis has been determined.
Destroy. he's almost always on Invoker. Same for when he's streaming. This guy, I've tuned in to stream a few times, and it seems he just loves to play Invoker. Very, very proficient in the Exort Invoker especially.
Yeah, and definitely a comfort hero for him, and it's something that he's been able to show off more since the hero's actually hit its prominence. I think a lot of like latent and resonant Invoker players have just been waiting for the opportunity for him to be viable again, and this 6 months window is definitely that time. So. Well, let's see what he can do in terms of the global Sunstrike action. My big thing is actually when Bone 7 first rotates. At level 6, the Chinese teams will often TP the Gyrocopter to a mid-tier 2, spoke him up, get him involved, and I feel like early involvement from the Gyrocopter would do them a lot of favors. So, I mean, obviously, you still have to worry about your safe lane tower if the Broodmother is pushing it, but I like the idea of Gyrocopter getting involved in starting fights so that they can start taking towers.
Yeah, and this goes like that TI5 aggressive style of Gyrocopter where you
just kind of like 50-50 against the Broodmother, and he's not fully compelled to go for it. It doesn't seem like it's something that where they're like, oh, we see a web, we have to go. But mid lane is already some action here. Spirit Lance and the Rolling Boulder, but they're not going to die. They're just going to burn some HP.
And the Exort Invoker are much more vulnerable to the PL mid. Like playing across Wex, you have a lot more defensive options. You've got better sustain, just more HP in general with the quest points, more HP regen. But going for the early Exort means this Invoker can be bullied a lot more in lane and has to be very wary of this Earth Spirit who's nearby.
Yeah, the problem with that logic is then you have a Quaswex Invoker, which I don't think really suits this situation too well. Quaswex can be great if you're up against like very mana-intensive supports, if it's like a healing push lineup that will probably get 2 or 3 Arcane Boots and rely on them heavily, then yeah, the Quaswex Invoker does a lot of work. But here, like, you need Exort so badly because you're just looking for damage. You really need to make sure that you get the kills early in the fight.
It fits with the overall, like you say, the damage, but even just in general, their lineup wants to be able to push and break towers, and that's where the Exort obviously makes a lot more sense. So we'll see. Early on, cancelled, not able to really even leave his side of the river here. Earth Spirit just
wow, look, real quick, just look
around.
bottom at the Sentry Ward action. There was a Sentry Ward over here for Afterlife, and he couldn't see Come With Me's Sentry in the tree. That is a Sentry put it within 4 trees, and Afterlife could not find it. So he's wasted both his Sentry Wards, and Come With Me is going to maintain control over this lane.
This is, as long as he can maintain this creep equilibrium, Brood can't really push up here. He's hit level 2, but he hasn't got any Spiderlings to work with, and he may actually struggle to get any more XP out of this lane as a result. So, drops out another web, but I'm not sure how well this is going to end for him. He goes up Afterlife inside the sentry range, taking more damage here. Gets out of sentry range. He's just trying to figure out where the sentries are, so he knows if it's safe to... Like, okay, he's like, alright, there's no sentries here, it's safe to leech XP. Because right now, that's all he can get out of this lane, and he's just being happy with that. Gets a Spiderling or 2.
He's going to bring the dust, though. This should be a first blood.
Yep. Nice play. Afterlife couldn't react to it in time. You look at that and you're like, oh, I could have gone for a Courier Snipe, but the Courier just delivered it from safe enough distance.
And we're going to see Scandal going on in mid here, but he's going to get the reinforcement of the Enigma. So a lot of mini stunts for the Cold Snap, and the Malefice will turn it around, and Scandal can't finish the job.
Yep. Cancel has the Salve as well, so he's going to sustain himself in this lane. He's got absolutely terrible CS, but that's, again, what you'd expect against the PL with a roaming Earth Spirit. That's just a lane that's not manageable. Anytime that pushes away, you're in trouble.
And Dust bottom. Wow, Afterlife tries to go in, goes down again. This lane couldn't be going worse for the Broodmother. It really comes down to the detection early. The fact is, because of the way they're keeping the creep equilibrium back, and if you just click on the circles of the sentries, like, there's no safe zone to the northern part of this lane. He has to go and commit, and as soon as he does, he's completely revealed.
It's really been a great support play coming out from Come With Me on the Witch Doctor. And that's something where it was the 10th pick of the entire draft. They saw the entire Kaipi draft when they went for this. Oh wait, did they see the Gyrocopter yet, or did that come?
The Gyrocopter was after, but
okay.
I wouldn't even say that like that's the hardest counter
No.
or hardest answer.
It's-
It's just
It's very much a good hero to have in lane against the Brood, but it's not a counter by any means.
sure.
But and I mean, this is such a great game to show how to deal with the Brood in the offlane when you've just got like a standard zoning support plus just carry who's maybe not and with no real Brood counters, just good sentry positioning, good dust usage, and they've managed to shut down the Brood's early game. Brood's still a hero though. You get a few more levels, you build that spiraling army, you get involved in a kill. This Brood's game is not over just yet.
Yeah, I'd like to agree with you, but he doesn't even have a soul ring yet. Like 4 minutes in, all he's hitting on is 2 clarities and a recipe. Like he's getting nothing here. And there's another sentry that will come down, and he doesn't have the tangos to break the other
But
sentry
Seven
ward.
does.
So
He can tango that. Oh, he's just gonna right click it down, and not looking like a very fun lane for him. And then you've got the kind of X factor of Sing Sing, who's got level 3, approaching level 4, and more importantly, the phase boot's coming online soon. Once he starts getting active on the map, that's where towers will start to fall, and Empire will just be outnumbered in any engagement that they look to take. I don't know what the plan's going to be here. Ramsey's on the safe lane Beastmaster, quickly approaching level 6, so probably that level 6 Beastmaster role is just going to be crucial for this Empire team to start making something happen.
And I'm curious if they're going to have to smoke for it too, because if you look at just ward vision in general, it's not just the central wards bottom. The observers and mid are really effective at keeping the Evoker safe from the Earth Spirit, and it's just like, where do you find that opening? Maybe you can kill the offlane Nature's Prophet. A kill is a kill, but it's probably one of the less valuable ones.
And even to that extent, it's such an obvious move. Like, Sing is probably singing this offlane like, okay, this Beastmaster... The second Beastmaster's level 6, he's telling his team. The second he goes missing from the lane, again, he's telling his team, like, hey, Beastmaster's missing, he may have TP'd to a lane, be ready for it. And it's just like a very easy-to-read play for Kaipi. So instead, it looks like rather than rotate the Beastmaster, they're going to bring heroes top and just take down a tower. Because this is, like, you TP to another lane, go for a kill and you don't get it, you've just wasted a ton of time, and you're going to lose out. But guaranteeing yourself a tier 1 tower here at least going to put some pressure onto Kaipi.
Yeah, at least look at that, and the summons will going to do their work. Actually, Sing Sing just walks right into the roar.
They'll get this kill, and Sing Sing goes down, unable to keep his tower alive because of that necessarily. We'll also have to wait and see, as there maybe could be some rotations coming out. Mad does have a TP on the Enigma, but I'm not sure if this is going to be a tower that can really be protected, and yeah, Kaipi are just going to let this one go down.
Yeah, he thought he was safe in the fog of war, at least just the blindness factor, but that Hawk does scout him out over the tree line, so I just can't play like that even at nighttime. It's really going to be about just kind of staying away from the threat range of each individual hero. But anyways, Rubik's still not getting that much experience, still looking towards his level 5. He really wants to get level 6 this game as soon as possible, because then he can actually start addressing the other lanes, and they're going to need to, because rather than doing traditional Broodmother things and pushing down the enemy's tier 1 in their safe lane, we actually see the potential for Furion to like knock that down in a good 30-second window. There's so much push potential between the Enigma and the Nature's Prophet, especially since the Enigma is level 7.
Unfortunately for Sing, he respawns TP's bottom with Dust, but doesn't actually manage to find Afterlife there, and rotates back into the jungle, but there's only so much jungle farm to go around between the Enigma, the Nature's Prophet. At some point you're like, look, we're not going to be able to all just be greedy farm our jungle. Someone's going to make a move. Mad's picked up a smoke now, so likely going to be looking for that first black hole kill. Even if it's just a solo kill on one of these core heroes, it's an ultimate maybe worth using at this stage of the game. Does feel like Brood is starting to regain some control of this bottom lane. Has managed to build up a bit of spiderlings here and there. Has got level 5, has got the boots plus soul ring, so this lane getting a bit more manageable for Brood.
Yeah, I mean, the Sentry Ward network is still going to be there, and Gyrocopter has 3 points of flak, so I don't think there's going to be any real struggle for the Bone 7, but on the other hand, at least Afterlife is getting something out of the lane. He did go for boots, which is a little bit odd. Oftentimes you'll say that Broodmother doesn't even need boots, as long as he stays in the webs. He can go for something a little bit different earlier. But
they found Earth Spirit here. Smoke rotation in from Mad. They're going to bring down the Earth Spirit, no problems. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Raw comes out, Bone 7. That's a Necrobook already, level 1. I say level 1 as if that's better than any other Necrobook. It's the worst of them all, but 8 minutes in having a Necrobook up, Ramses finds a big kill on the Gyro, and that transitions into a tower.
They're going to obviously take tit for tat and go for the push up top, but just getting that kill on the Gyrocopter is so massive. Obviously going to be delaying his SNY buildup, which allows him to fight very effectively, and and more importantly, just taking away his safe farming area. Like, now that they're going to be able to push Afterlife into the jungle, the Gyrocopter's not going to have a clear location to farm and build itself up.
It secures so much more farm for the Brood, like you say. Like, not just can the Brood pressure the Radiant jungle, take away from Kaipi, but you take that farm for yourself. So Afterlife can now farm this bottom lane, farm the Radiant jungle, and apply a lot more pressure while maintaining his own economy game. And they're going again. Bone 7's come right back down to this bottom lane. A TP coming in. It looks like they won't be able to get much out of this, as Mad on the Enigma does have Black Hole, but even the PLs here possibly looking to cut off the rotating Enigma from the mid lane. Rotating Invoker from the mid lane. Cancel actually blocks himself with the Forward Spirit Summon. Goes into a Ghost Walk. Sentry Ward is there, and Cancel pulled back in, unfortunately. Bit of a misplay there with the Forward Spirit Summon completely body blocking himself, and Empire find a big kill on the Invoker.
There's one thing I could say about both these teams right here, just in the European scene in general, is preparation is a key factor. These Sentry Wards, these Dust, they're coming out whenever they're going for a kill, they know that they're going to be necessary, versus Ghostwalk versus the Brood. There's been a lot of plays throughout the different regions. I've cast a little bit SEA, a little bit NA, and there's some random slip-ups here and there where there's just somebody walks away because of a detection factor. But now these guys are ready to go for the big fights, and here like Rubik, the safe lane support, bringing the Sentry Wards here before the 10-minute mark. This definitely shows that they have the intention to slay. They want to go for the gank plays, and the next play is down bottom, where Bone 7 has thankfully eluded their gaze.
You see just an Earth Spirit up top, and you're like, where's this rest of this team? If they're going to defend mid, well, that's fine. They're going to defend mid, but you don't know that bottom lane's safe, so he's not going to show up anywhere near the Brood, as well as the roaming Beastmaster, who's completely taken over this Radiant jungle. But good news for Kaipi is that this 5-man of theirs is pretty damn potent, and this is before massive, they even have a mech. This is, before any of their... They don't have the drums on Nature's Prophet, they don't really have... they don't even have that many levels on a lot of these heroes, but they push. And
the big thing
so
is
fast.
there's no wave clear. There's absolutely no way for Empire to deal with this. They don't have Wild Axis skilled, and other than that, they have Fade Bolt. I mean, that's nothing. So they really don't have any consistent way of dealing with this, especially since Voodoo Restoration is there, sustaining it at level 2.
I actually love this Gyrocopter build too. It's actually much better than the Rocket Barrage for pushing, because you know Empire's not going to want to engage into all your summons, so he's just going to throw homing missiles at them, force them to back off. You don't really have any opportunities to use the Rocket Barrage, so this build from Bone 7 actually kind of synergizes very well with the overall game plan.
Absolutely. They're just constantly, as far back as possible, poking and prodding at the waves, but not really able to do anything directly about it. You compared the Phantom Lancer for Scandal to a Queen of Pain, but the one thing that the Phantom Lancer is lacking comparatively is that AoE clear. Like, he can do absolutely nothing in these situations where the towers are just getting pushed down.
He's a full 1k net worth ahead of the Invoker. I mean, that's kind of what the pick is designed to do. And speaking of the Invoker, may fall even further behind. There's a raw kill coming in. Not going to happen, though. Cancel managed to get off the Ghost Walk. Just narrowly, as Ramses will be forced back a bit. Steal some of that jungle farm. Just the Necro 2. If it's a Necro 3, that would have been a kill. Now we're going to see Empire go for a bit of a counter push of their own, swinging towards this bottom lane with the Necrobooks. No Glyph available, no Tower Deny as well.
Oh, but...
Now, yeah. Ramses, this cooldown going to come in, then Black Hole just on one, but make sure they get the Beastmaster without any casualties.
And they'll still turn into a second kill. Oh, yeah. The King R rocket connects.
Yep. When Kaipi hit their item timings, they're just going to start barreling down lanes. Like the SMY Gyrocopter, the drums on Nature's Prophet. The Witch Doctor just maybe wants a couple more points in Voodoo Restoration. And then you've got, I guess Invoker's just going to go for a Midas here so he can kind of scale more towards the late game. But the mech on the Enigma, which is already up now, so... perhaps more importantly, the Greaves. I'd love to see him rush the Greaves. The cooldown reduction from 65 to 45 seconds makes a big difference when you want to just continually 5-man push and just try brute force your way through the Empire defense.
Yeah, I mean, if the Gyrocopter gets like a BOT build and is able to respond to the Brood and then jump back to assist his allies, I think that's the best way to do it. Go like Dominator, BOT. Oh, he's actually got the phase boost, so it's going to be hard for Bone 7 to kind of bounce back and forth, but at least the Nature's Prophet can. Maybe go Drum into Maelstrom and try to go for that kind of infinite sustained push. But Stun will connect onto the Witch Doctor, so they are going to make a exaggerated rotation down to bottom and at least find the support.
Yeah. So Invoker finally getting that Midas. This is a very late Midas, and looking at Cancel, he's only level 8, so definitely, I'm sure if the side of Kaipi, they would have liked a few more levels on this Invoker. I mean, they don't even have the double Forward Spirit yet, and that's actually going to lead into Empire actually taking Roshan for themselves. Kaipi potentially could have contested this if they knew exactly what's going on, but right now Vision a little bit limited for them. They've got a couple nice wards up, but You don't really know for sure what you're walking into, and Empire are just so ready to fight. Necrobook, level 2, about to hit level 3. That Necro 3 timing this early on is really hard to fight into, and that's actually going to be like, anyone getting Rawed is almost a guaranteed kill at this point.
So, just the summoners pushing up top for now. I'm going to be able to obviously put a big dent in this tower, but I also think they're a little bit vulnerable. I mean, this is pushing into an Aegis lineup. It means that Scandal's going to be very aggressive here and not really fearing for his own life, as they can just follow through and get kills in exchange. So it's going to be a pretty big heavy clash, but slowly Kaipi are getting everybody reinforcing this top lane, and the Brood really doesn't want to fight. She's going to keep pushing bottom.
Yep. See what the next move's going to be. Beastmaster's still not playing his Necro 3 just yet. I feel like that's going to be a big boost in their just overall damage output as well as utility here. They're going on Mad at the top lane. He's in trouble. He pops the mech, but is it going to be enough damage to bring him down with the Magnetize? You bet, to the Death Ward. Trying to counterplay onto Scandal. Scandal, he's got the Aegis though, so he's going to be coming back to life soon. This is looking terrible for Kaipi. They've only taken out Nursecript to start things off. King R, what's he stolen? It's a flat cannon on a Rubik. Not the spell you're looking for, but with the Raw on a Bone 7, that's going to lead into a TP out from Sing. Scandal's chasing once Bone 7. He's got SMY. He's very fast with the phase boots. Goes for the TP out, and he'll narrowly escape. But at bottom lane, Brood, oh, by the way, has just split pushed a tier 3 tower down. They win that fight at top lane without the Brood. That's a full. I mean, you could say 4v5. They did have Aegis, so it obviously wasn't.
Yeah, I think the Aegis
4v5.
is the big factor there. There's nobody that can actually frontline hard enough on Empire unless you have an Aegis the Immortal. So I think that the Scandal being able to just soak up all that damage was a very key factor to their game plan, because otherwise you have to have like the Earth Spirit up there, and he's just gonna die before he even gets 2 or 3 stones down for the Magnetize. So it was very, very important that they got the PL Aegis and got him involved there, but the fact that they're able to push down 2 towers in the process is just incredible. It's definitely what they needed.
Mads walked into a Beastmaster, immediately getting a Boar on him as well as the Mana Burn, and he's just going to get solo killed here by Ramses. Didn't even need the Raw, but there is a return kill, and that's not going to end up being the most efficient trade here. Sing getting the kill and the Necrobook money going the way of mostly, entirely to cancel. So a big gold gain there. You look at like maybe 500 gold out of the Necrobooks with the Hawk and the Boar, as well as the 1-for-1 kill exchange, so that gold change not telling the true story of what just happened.
Yeah, and the Midas, of course, from Cancel is still going to allow him to build up. Even though you're pushing as 4 or 5 heroes, you're still actually getting a lot of experience in the Invoker, because the Midas is selfish experience. You're the only one getting it. You're not splitting it with your teammates. So it's not really hurting the Invoker's build up. But, of course, feeding all those kills away still gives Empire that 2k experience lead, and they are building themselves up quickly. But I almost feel like Empire, they have to kind of look at the next stage of the game and wonder, what are they actually going to be able to do with their next set of items? I mean, obviously the Beastmaster has his Necro 3. That's amazing. Maybe goes AC or something next. But like, other than the Veil of Discord coming out in the Earth Spirit, I'm not really seeing any more power spikes for Empire soon.
Well, I think that's one of the struggles as far as how the drafts match up. Is this is the Necro 3 timing is meant to be the power spike, but he's hit his big power spike at the time where Kaipi have hit theirs. And I just goes Kaipi's just looks all around stronger. Like when Kaipi group up as 5. With these teamfight items, the mech, the drums, and all the summons and sustain that the Witch Doctor brings to the table, having this one hero, the Beastmaster, doesn't really look like to me like it's going to match up to that.
Free pickup on the Come With Me, at least, as they boulder smash them, pop everything. You don't even need to commit the Roar in case there are other heroes to reinforce it. But yeah, I feel like the big thing is that I don't think Empire can rely on Roshan to tip the scales the next time. I mean, the respawn may be coming out in like 5 or 6 minutes, but whether or not that's actually going to be a free pit for them it really depends on Kaipi. If they're able to scout it out with one of their summons, then they should be able to get into that pit and get involved.
Yeah. What do you think Afterlife's going? He's picked up a Yash. Is he looking to turn this into something, or just a casual pickup?
I mean, I don't really see much reason to go all the way for the SNY or the Manta style. You definitely can. I mean, SNY is not bad if you just want to cruise and stay right on top of somebody. But I would definitely look towards like syncing up Necro 3s. Obviously, Aura items have been very powerful in the past, like Vlad's and AC are something that either the Beastmaster or the Brood need to pick up soon. So I would just keep it as a casual Yasha, but obviously he has the option.
Okay. We'll see in due time. PL, meanwhile, he's just completed his defusal, so I guess this is like a pretty small little... it's a decent power spike, at least in what the PL can do in these 5-star engagements. Yeah. He's in really good fighting shape now with the travels as well as defusal. If he can kind of sit around the edge of a fight, just keep throwing a few lances and not take too much damage, he's going to offer a lot to his team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's not much to purge in this game. It's not like you're facing off against some of those heavy buffers here. The Alacrity is probably the only actual dispellable component. So you're really just going to be getting some chain slows. If Kaipi start losing a fight, you're going to be able to follow through. You've got Earth Spirit, you've got a very fast Brood, you've got this chase potential with the Diffusal Blade, and now the Blink Dagger. Like, if the Empires start winning a fight, they can keep winning a fight and chase them to the ends of the earth, chase them back to the Radiant base. And that's a real strong point of Empire's lineup. But generally speaking, if Kaipi are positioned right, they shouldn't be losing the engagement in the first place.
They're going to look to position themselves towards this top lane. 2 heroes have smoked out. Oh, sorry, 3 now with Bone 7 following behind. And what exactly is going to be the plan here? They haven't got any wards to put down, but they are on the hunt for a kill. Nature's Prophet can always TP and Invoker can always offer Sunstrike support. So in some ways you've got the presence of 4.5, 5 heroes here. And PL in the trees has to be very, very careful of this one. The wraparound is coming in. Kaipi. They realize something's up here. They're going to see Sing get initiated on. He's going to take the Raw, and I don't really see a way out of this for Sing, but the counterplay is going to be there. Mad, who's he going to go for? He goes for Silhouette on the PL with the solo Black Hole. They'll secure that kill, and they should be able to, they'll finish off Ramses as well, so...
And it didn't take too much time either, so they can defend bottom in the same breath. It's actually really important.
I feel like that's like, at this stage, the PL is like, to a large extent, the late game. So using a Black Hole to kill him is perfectly justified. But bottom lane, they're going with the Raytrax. Mad TP's in and just immediately gets taken out. Oh boy, didn't even get a chance to use the mech, and Bone 7 going to clean up some Spiderlings, it looks like. Yeah, with that Sentry Ward, Spiderlings don't last for too long, and Brood will be repelled.
I guess it's worth they dig but dying to save the Raytrax. Like, they commit the spells on him instead of the Gyrocopter. The Raytrax probably stands as a result. They also have their Glyph up for the next time the Brood tries anything like that.
There is a Brood BKB now, though, so that does make life a little bit more difficult. Looks like, okay, so Rubik took the tier 1 mid tower, which is what actually refreshed the Glyph there. And we'll see Rubik now. Aether Lens picked up, King R. Level 10, and looking at some of the spell steals available, he's currently not even holding on to any spells because there's been so little kind of action for the Rubik. But Black Hole, of course, the big one. A couple of Invoker
spells. I've only really
spells,
seen Flat
nice.
Cannon. Has he gotten anything good?
I really don't think I've seen really anything else this entire game, but all the kills he's been involved in have just been like, okay, we just killed Nature's Prophet, and he could still like Treants or something. Like, you can farm jungle with Treants. I'll take that as a Rubik.
Sure enough. But it looks like they're still posturing bottom. They'd love to get the jump. Obviously, the closer to the Radiant base they take the fight, the better chance they can turn it into an objective to force down the racks and even more. It's going to be jumping out Sing, but they have the backup in spades.
Oh, Sing though, there's no defensive capabilities outside of the mech, and once that's gone, here comes Brood ready with the BKB, looking to finish off Sing, but we'll need another nuke, and Afterlife is just completely throwing his life away there. We'll see a spell steal onto the Death Ward. Oh, he did not toggle the Voodoo. In comes the Magnetize from the Earth Spirit. He's trying to do a bit of damage here, but already dying means he can't refresh the Magnetize by dropping more stones here. Bones from the front lines, no BKB just yet. He's close to it, but he's going to go down. As he waits to farm, and Empire at least gotten 1 kill out of this fight. Cancel, looking to do a bit more damage if possible. Has a Dual Scepter, has both his big spells. Sunstrike, Silhouette! Oh, gets him! Nicely played, Cancel. He knows this hero, he knows it back to front. That is
that was such. I mean,
very nice Sunstrike.
There were some RNG factors there, like where the actual spawns come in from the illusions of the doppelganger. But that was just so on point. That was absolutely perfect.
It was funny because I'm clicking. I'm like, okay, this is PL in front of him. He can't really go for it. He had all his spells like Yule's, Sunstrike as well as Meteor, but it's so hard to use them against the doppelganger. So he said, I'm just going to hold on to my spells, wait for you to use your doppelganger, and then try and land my Sunstrike. And he just does it perfectly. Now towards the mid lane. Is he going to go for this? He's going to blink Yules, but he is in so deep here. He's going for it. He's got the Sunstrike, the Meteor, the Deafening Blast. There's your pub combo. Doesn't quite have the damage. It looks like 100 HP. Ramses will survive on and cancel. Well, he's going to get punished. He thought he had it.
That might actually open up Roche. That's a 50-second death timer in the Invoker. He doesn't want to buy back into.
Big mistake in the end. It's one of those things where if it works, you look amazing. Like, all right, you're like, yeah, man, that's the Invoker play you're looking for. But when it backfires, it's a travesty. It's absolutely catastrophic to lose. Like, getting the kill does not really. It maybe would have opened up this bottom lane to push the tier 1, tier 2 tower. We're on the back lines. We'll see a BKB Brood. Go on to Mad here on the Enigma. No TP cancel available, and the land's just narrowly not landing.
Still Roche.
Yeah, still Roche. Brutal. Missed the kill on the Enigma, but like you say, getting Roshan is the big objective here.
So, would you say this Broodmother's BKB has been effective? I mean, the first one, he ran in, he didn't even get the spawn startling kill before the Death Ward took him down.
I don't want to say it's the item choice, I just want to say it's like some of his... the way he's approached the fights, or the way his team as a whole has sometimes approached these fights.
Yeah, I'm just worried, like, usually you look at BKB, the first 3 charges are the high impact points. It's going to be going down to 5 seconds very quickly, and then it's like, okay, well, why'd I go BKB in the first place?
Yeah. We'll see how he manages moving forward. Ramsey's just going to TP top, defend the tier 2 after getting and securing Roshan for the team. They're actually thinking about going in on this one, Kaipi. They're lurking around this top lane. They throw a Sprout for a bit of extra vision. But nearby is both Earth Spirit as well as Rubik and Nature's Prophet, as well as Bone Set on the Gyrocopter. Maybe overseeing their welcome here. Gyro has a TP to escape fairly soon. It's going to be Sing with backup nearby. Enigma has smoked up, so it looks like Kaipi are kind of considering making a big commitment towards this top lane. They would be fighting into an Aegis, though, which seems a little bit ill-advised.
Yeah, it's kind of a difficult engagement. They have to make sure that they start off with at least 1 guaranteed kill, if not 2, with that like smoked blink black hole. But it's they're just too tentative about it. They're going to have to fall back because they know that if they even commit to a fight up top, Afterlife will take a ranged barracks bottom.
Yeah, so they're going to have to make sure they maintain that equilibrium being pushed up on them with the creep waves. And BKB on Bone 7 gives them a bit more just ability to push out these lanes, although he does have to be very wary of what the Beastmaster Roar can bring to the table.
Yeah, it comes down to whether or not he knows. He should not be up like this if he doesn't see the Beastmaster. That's actually could be a huge mistake that he pays for. But
could no, not gonna come in.
They didn't see the alternative factor of that is that Kaipi were off the map as well, so it definitely puts some fear in Ramses. He's not as confident.
If he gets the BKB off before the Roar, he probably survives just the 2 heroes there, though. Like, because then you don't get the damage from the Mana Burn and the full damage out of the Necro Warriors with the Mana Break. So actually, Mana Break is physical. I didn't actually realize that until I read it.
It's physical damage, but
it doesn't
go
go through Magic.
It's like Diffusal, yeah. It does not go through Magic Immunity.
Gotcha. Yeah. So that makes sense. And
Dota rules, man. Dota rules.
I see physicals. I'm like, oh, physical damage goes through BKB, but no, it's obviously doesn't go through the magic immunity aspect. But, so cancel now. Picks up a point booster. Dire vision of this area, somewhat limited outside of this Hawk. They don't want to move it in too close. I'm trying to keep it alive. And for now, looks like Empire just happy to get what farm they can on their side of the map. They've gone into a Blink Dagger for the PL. He's holding on to this Aegis, but no signs that they want to go for a push just yet, despite having the Aegis. I think they really want to get a pick off with their draft, and they don't want to just group up as 5. Very much a draft that's kind of more suited towards splitting the map, finding a pick off on one side, have the Brood split push somewhere else, and use these smokes effectively. And that's what the next play is going to be here. They've smoked up around this mid lane. They're looking for that pick off.
It's good position from Kaipi, though. They're just fully turtled up. They're not going to be exposing like their core heroes on the front line, and that makes it very hard to go.
Blink, Roar, they've gone in on Mad. Can they bring him down quick enough? Maybe I'll get off a mech here. Gets the mech off. Will it be enough to save him? It looks like just maybe it will. Silhouette in the front lines. Loses Aegis very fast.
Oh, Death Ward stolen again!
Oh boy, Afterlife. He's just going to try to fight his way through the Radiant Death Ward. Meanwhile, Rubik didn't get too much out of his, and it's going to be a Witch Doctor for Brood exchange. Not really the best trade for Team Empire. Sunstrike, ooh, off the mark this time in PL. Everyone on this Empire team, when they go into these fights, like the Brood and BKB form looking very squishy against the Death Ward. The PL just melted. The damage output from Kaipi is freaking scary.
And it's like so well mixed. Like they don't have to really worry about BKBs when they have Death Ward and Black Hole. And then they've obviously got plenty of magical damage from the Invoker as well as the Nature's Prophet now with his Axe. That's they're just the Wrath of Nature alone will do a tremendous amount of magical damage to everyone, and it's actually really scary for Empire because they're taking damage from so many different sources. They don't have a quick and easy way to mitigate it, and the worst thing is that obviously they don't have a mechanism. The Earth Spirit went for this very offensive build, the Veil Aether Lens, and while that can definitely create kill opportunities, it's also really weakening Empire's ability to survive through the fights.
Yeah. See Silhouette pick up a Yasha now, just kind of transitioning into your typical kind of carry PL items in some ways, but like you kind of mentioned, all the magic damage from an Invoker, which is all AoE damage, combine that with Gyrocopter, who's got Flat Cannon, they've got pretty decent ways of dealing with the PL in these fights, unless he gets really tanky. I feel like he's going to need a lot of items to be able to kind of fight into
He's got a very long
Kaipi.
shopping list.
And by the time he gets like that Skadi Heart, whatever it may be, to start tanking up, at that point Gyro's got MKB or something like a Butterfly, and he's got big right-click damage as well. Bone 7 goes in with a BKB, pops it too early perhaps, or thought Mad had the jump, and Mad did not get the catch there as King R and Ramses managed to find an escape.
And that's actually a pretty big gambit, because Ramses was carrying a Gem of True Sight, so that gives Vision back the other way to Kaipi, and that would have taken out the two big Observer Wards that are in play right now for Empire. They have one on the high ground, which actually has a sentry next to it, but they also have one in the Radiant Jungle West. So I feel like that moving like that, it's a gambit. Obviously, they got the BKB, it paid off, but Ramses is playing with fire, trying to go for those blink dodges.
He's often been very much off on his own for a lot of these pickoffs. I mean, both him and Cancel have played kind of similar in that sense, where we see them often find those kills or find like a good initiation, but other times they've been picked off alone. So Ramses, like you kind of alluded to, having a gem, you need to play that a little bit more cautiously, and something you need to be very wary of.
Butterfly going to be the target of choice for Bone 7 on the Gyro. He's only got the Talisman of Evasion now, but I feel like that's going to do a lot for him. Like, not having to worry about the Necro Warriors, the Brood Mother, or the PL nearly as much once you have that evasion factor, and I feel like that's actually going to allow him to be the late game carry that Kaipi needs.
And not just Gyrocopter, Sing is actually going to go pretty well. He's gone the Ag Scepter, so it's not going like the DPS fighting nature's Profitable, but as far as being able to keep these lanes pushed out and be that kind of late game nuisance with the split push, Sing is already kind of approaching that point.
They still have Death Ward on King R, by the way. He's lurking down bottom, and I think they really want to go on this bottom lane.
King R with 4-staff Aether Lens has got a long cast range on that. He's... You don't see his teammates TP towards the top lane. It looks like they are hunting. They don't see anyone up top, but there was an Enigma who TP'd out. And Beastmaster, yep, everyone's actually vacated this top lane, so no one to find up here. Searching futilely through the trees. It's Witch Doctor still at the bottom. Oh, sorry, Rubik still at the bottom lane with the Witch Doctor ultimate, who may be the one who can find some kills here. Sing Sing nearby.
It's about to time out, though. They got some Spiderlink scouting, saw the high ground, but Sing Sing, if he doesn't go for this wave, he's not going to go down. It's just going to be Bone 7, who's too tanky, has the BKB.
So next Roche sometime in the next 1 to 4 minutes. We'll likely see Empire, though. Like, as much as Kaipi has a great Roche lineup, like they don't want to be pushing out too far. They're being very cautious that they're always dealing with the Brute split push and very wary of Empire's pick-off potential with the Beastmaster. The vision advantage that Empire have right now is massive. Not just from the Beastmaster, but even from the vision. They've got 4 wards spread throughout the map here, and that makes it very easy for Empire to know what's going on the map. Even now, Kaipi, they're smoking up, but when you see no heroes on the map, that immediately kind of raises suspicion, because you've got vision in so much of the map. Like, you have the entire map watered, you see no heroes, you're like, I think they're smoked.
Yeah, and then of course you got the Hawk as well, so it's not just like one bit of vision, it's just so many different instances where they know exactly what's going on. Maposha can even have this flanking position and not be afraid as the Mad Smoke breaks.
Yeah. He popped one and they just didn't quite realize. They ping out the Roche MP. I'm not sure if they're going to go back in. They also, I mean, they should know Roche can't have respawned just yet, so they're not even going into the Roche pit to check it because of that. But Maposha's positioning there, just on point.
Yeah. Being able to disengage really effectively if necessary, and we already see Afterlife just beelining bottom. If they try for anything in any other lane, they're immediately going to have to be forced to defend anyway. So
this is where
just really good map control from Empire.
Yeah, and this is where the boots of travel for the Gyrocopter really kind of become a necessity almost. He wants to go into DPS, but at some stage he's going to need that global mobility to deal with the split push.
I mean, hopefully the Aghanim Scepter is enough to dissuade it. Like, obviously you kill the spiders, you create a lot of trees. So I think there's a lot of value in Sing Sing's build to try to kind of counter push the other way. But yeah, in the end, you can't feel fully confident at using your ultimate and not actually addressing the Broodmother directly.
Roche going to be the priority for Empire. Very fast Roche respawn, but ultimately I feel like they were going to be able to secure this Roshan. Probably uncontested regardless, unless Kaipi went for that kind of ballsy smoke, which they've done just before
they hit
the
the smoke.
Respawn.
It's just the vision factor you mentioned before. It's impossible.
They're always kind of guessing as to where heroes are on the map and what Empire are doing, and that's a big concern for them right now. They've got Nature's Prophet. I feel like that's maybe something... Okay, so we see Witch Doctor get down one deep ward, but with even just the treants themselves, I feel Sing maybe needs to prioritize less pushing lanes and just using them as mobile wards at this stage of the game. What do you think happens late game here? Like, is Empire going to struggle really to push high ground, or are they just going to keep on farming and reach this critical mass?
I mean, the biggest problem right now is the lack of AoE disable on Empire. They have like the Boulder Smash, and that's about it. I mean, obviously you can go like Abyssal Blade on the Broodmother. You've got the Roar on the Beastmaster. He's going to have Refresher, which is great late game if you have the mana to support it. It's just the question of whether or not you can lock down enough heroes for enough time really comes to question. Right now they've been playing the map really well, but obviously they still can't take a full confrontation, and they know it. They have to catch them off guard, at least to start off with one kill before Kaipi is ready with all 5.
And often Enigma's kind of talked about as one of those heroes that does kind of become a carry and does scale very well in the late game, but when you've got, I mean, Beastmaster Roar to go through the BKB, you've got Rubik to steal the Black Hole, it really means, I mean, in the same sense, Rubik goes amazing into the late game. So
yes,
we'll see both sides with a lot of heroes that can scale well. The big challenge, like we've kind of talked about, is Empire's ability to push high ground. They're going to BKB Brood just to TP away here. Picks up a Desolator. Interesting little pick off. Single target damage, and also, I mean, great for the actual, once you get onto the buildings, but I feel like this Brood hasn't actually been right-clicking buildings in a long, long time.
Yeah, not since the damage that was dealt to the range barrack. Still hasn't regenerated 568 HP, but Sing Sing down bottom looks like he'll be in some trouble. He's got a TP scroll, but they've got so many heroes behind it.
Yeah. Get that kill. The tornado coming in, but Sing Sing already brought down, and the chase is on. We'll see if they can catch any more here. Mad could be in some trouble, does not have a BKB of his own. Has a Blink Dagger in a couple of seconds. Will he go for the Black Hole? He's found Silhouette here at the bottom. Mad's going to quickly lose his mind to the Fusel Blade. He needs to be careful. He may not even have a Black Hole. He gets it off just in time. Doing good damage to the Phantom Lancer. Silhouette getting low. What's the steal? Is it the Black Hole?
Yeah,
You betcha! He's going to turn. He's going to throw the Black Hole onto cancel. The Age is going to pop on the PL. That's why he didn't mind dying to that solo Black Hole. And Empire, they've lost 2 already, though. Sing with the buybacks done some good damage here. This PL, though, ready to clean up. Afterlife's coming. He's still got his hands on the cheese, and Kaipi going to be forced to disperse. It's not just a buyback, it's a dieback from Sing Sing. Sunstriker? No, not even close.
And I mean, the Roshan leverage is really the name of the game for Empire. Like, all 3 Roshas going to them very cleanly, and then every single time there's a fight shortly thereafter that they're able to make some amazing things happen.
It just allows the PL to just blink onto the Enigma and fight him. And the thing is, if Enigma tries to retreat...
1-7 actually might just be dead solo to Scandal,
wow.
because he can't TP. He's going to be diffused, he's going to be purged, and he's out of mana. So there's actually no way to get out of that situation.
He does a buyback, but I'm sure he's not in a position where he wants to use it, although Empire themselves not in a position to necessarily push lanes right now. Beastmaster will be respawning with Boots of Travel, though. But yeah, I mean, as far as that fight goes, like, Silhouette, Scandal, having the Aegis every fight, he blinks on Enigma, and Enigma has no BKB, so if you don't just throw your Black Hole onto the PL at that point, he's going to burn all your mana, and you don't get any opportunity to Black Hole. But at the same time, you don't want to solo Black Hole a PL with an Aegis, but ultimately that's all Mad can do in these fights. Like, if he has to stay hidden in fog the entire basically the entire fight until he's ready to Black Hole, which is just generally not what you want to do as an Enigma. You want to at least offer some threat and presence, because you've got the mech, you've got the pipe, you need to be moving forward. And speaking of Enigma, he's now been jumped in the top lane. PL's found another kill. Scandal's just tearing through Kaipi, although has he overextended here? He's going to find himself taking a bit of a death ward here, but he gets the kill. Double, looking for the triple. Sing Sing. Don't think he can really fight the PL at this stage of the game. On the backlines, they're going to get the kill on Invoker here. Sing going to TP himself home, and 4 dead. Jaro not going to have to buy back. He will be respawning soon, but...
And PL's got a heart now. He just got it off the courier, so they can keep fighting. They can keep pushing. They can at least force the Invoker buyback. And there it is.
They've got Necrobooks here in the top lane helping sustain their push. Beastmaster will have the money for the refresher once again. The Range Rex has already been taken in the bottom lane. Meanwhile, the push of the top lane coming in as well. Silhouette gonna dodge most of that damage coming out, and has run out of mana here as well as Diffusal charges. So the sustain not there quite as much, but looks like bottom lane is more where they want to go. Cancel blinks past the Brood, going straight onto Ramses on the Beastmaster. Can he bring down this kill? No buyback on Beastmaster, needs one more bit of damage. He misses the Sunstrike! Oh, Ramses will get out with the blink, and elsewhere Brood has taken out the Melee Rex top lane. They've taken the tier 3 tower, so it's Empire pressing in from multiple lanes and causing all sorts of problems here. They're going to focus the Range Rex for now, knowing that they probably won't be able to stick around for too long. They won't even secure themselves the Range Rex.
The Brood popped the VKB and Cheese to kill off the bottom range Rex, or the melee Rex, which is obviously important. They need that foothold. They need to get the bottom lane. But other than that, they didn't really get all that much other than the Invoker buyback out of this. So,
they got a tier 3 top tower, though. Like, that was a full HP tower at top.
I mean, I'm not saying it was bad at all, but I was actually hoping Empire would have even more going out of this.
It looked like they may just, like, straight up win the game there, if not for a Kaipi hold. And that's exactly what
that kind of pick off
did.
on Enigma, that's insane. Like, getting that opportunity is not going to happen too many times. I don't think Mad's going to allow the PL to do that every single time that a wave's getting pushed out. I feel like the Empire had a really big opening there, and they do get something major out of it, but it's not game-ending. We're going to see Kaipi move forward here. They have the mech, they have the pipe, all their ultimates, and it looks like they're ready to take this to the high ground. It's a hole in the roars. 2 roars from Scandal, or from Ramses.
So he's ready to go. He'll wait for the respawns, I imagine, but Kaipi, it seems like they want to commit to this one. Recognizing this may be one of their few opportunities, but buyback status very good on this dire side. They've got buyback on Beastmaster as well as PL as well as Brute. All 3 of their calls with buyback, so they can take a risky fight here if they feel like they're going to be able to get their rolls off. They get the first off onto Bone 7. And Invoker on the sidelines as well, looking to Mana Bone. He's going for the second roar. Can he get it? No, he loses his Mana though. Does not get the roar off. Great cold snap. EMP there. And Empire maybe forced back into BKB from Bone 7. He's fighting into the Phantom Lancer. Phantom Lancer going to doppelganger away, but they've defended the base. Where's that Sunstrike? He goes for the PL, doesn't actually land it. Not sure he had the damage to get the kill anyways, as Miposhka on the Earth Spirit going to be repelled, and no casualties somehow in that entire fight. But end of the day, a win for Empire, who hold the high ground, and Kaipi don't really gain much from it.
Absolutely. Really good just control in general. They actually comboed up a stolen Midnight Pulse with the Roar, and then later on they get a 2-man Boulder Smash within it too. So Miposhka and as well as Ramses are able to play that fight really well. Again, they couldn't seal the deal with any of these kills. Bone 7's really tanky at this point, and even Cancel's kind of been difficult for them to focus because he's got this a very short cooldown Invoke. But Scandal up top, could this be a blunder? He's got no TP out, and they're just going to black hole him.
Yep, why not? Definitely a blunder, but by no means a game-losing blunder when you've got buyback there. Because if Kaipi go for a push and you're really threatened, like let's say you're not split pushing the other lanes, that's where you just say, okay, we buy back, and I doubt Kaipi commit to like a... I mean, maybe they will feel like this is one of their big opportunities. Let's push while PL has his buyback on cooldown, but likely we will see that buyback come into play if Empire don't feel they're getting a good trade. And they're looking for the trade. Ramses at bottom has a Shadow Blade to initiate, likely to go for this Invoker kill.
Yeah, this could be huge. Just walking into the base,
full he's got the buyback.
dropping the roar. That's amazing.
Yeah, and Brood's even here as well. They need a bit of extra damage, and Brood will even secure the kill, making sure Invoker doesn't get a chance to Yules or Ghostwalk. The TP from Witch Doctor not going to amount to much on its own, but the Gyrocopter coming in may help out. The cast somehow finds its way back to the Beastmaster, and with Bone 7 rocking up, he gets the kill on the Witch Doctor. That's the Necrobooks doing that, and Beastmaster will go down, but that's pretty much... Oh, on the backlines, yep, Enigma goes down to the Brood. The Necrobook's still there and still kicking. Afterlife will BKB TP, nothing to cancel that one. Homing Missile will bonk him on the head, but that's not going to do a whole lot. So ultimately, yes, Beastmaster dies there, but you get 3 kills and you buy time for the PL to respawn without having to buy back. Definitely a good exchange there for Team Empire.
Just the summons doing their job there. The Necros just sat on the Witch Doctor the entire time. Voodoo Restoration doesn't mean much when they're burning your mana as well, and they just take him down throughout the entire process. So yeah, Ramses is very happy to trade his life there, as he not only buys time for the PL to respawn, but he buys time for his Refresher Orb to come back off cooldown. That was a pretty big cooldown committed and wasted in the previous fight, but now he's going to have that double roar back up again, and I feel really strongly about Empire's chances of taking the next big fight. Again, taking a free Roshan. 4 free Roshes in a 43-minute game.
It's been such a big part of this game. And this is where before this Rosh, I'm looking like, okay, I wonder what Bone 7 goes next. Like, are things desperate enough to go for Rapier? I'm thinking, yeah, nah, probably not. But with an Aegis Cheese on the dire side, I think you legitimately may consider a Rapier as your next pickup if you're Bone 7, just because of how hard this game is going to be to win.
Yeah. Oh boy. And I mean, obviously, then you're just going to see both the roars going right at you. I mean, could somebody buy a Linkage or a Lotus to help them out? We'll see Miposhka rolling out of that one.
It's a Death Ward going on cooldown now. Homing Missile will chase as the Boulder Smash prevents some of the chase, and Earth Spirit, he'll get the TP out with the Homing Missile just pursuing. King could be in some trouble here. Has a lot of mobility items, but won't get a chance to use the Blink Dagger. Not the biggest loss for Team Empire, who still have plenty of time left on this Aegis. So they're not in a rush to necessarily push with it, and even regardless of breaking another lane of Rex with this Aegis, like, I feel like they're still in a pretty good position just to farm and continue to transition into the late game. PL still probably, he can replace the Aegis with another kind of good late game item. Brood's got kind of room to get something like an AC. Beastmaster's doing pretty well, but still has an empty item slot as well, so we'll see what Kaipi can get done. They're actually just pushing straight into Team Empire here. Not afraid of this Aegis.
Yeah, Afterlife's even like right here, ready to go, and I mean, obviously they had the flank of the Beastmaster now going in on Bone 7.
Bone 7, roared up, loses a lot of his mana here, but managed to get the BKB up. Afterlife gets Black Hole with Scandal! What a hole, and this is the beauty of the Rubik being dead. No hole steal. Mad gets off the kill into the Brood to start things off, and they're looking for the second. It's going to be Scandal going down. He's got the Aegis, though. Definitely something to keep in mind. As this, oh my gosh, this Magnetize just continuing to like shred through heroes left, right, and center. Sing Sing on the back foot, going to sprout himself up, but he's already gone down, and things starting to swing the way of Team Empire. They won't get the TP out from the Witch Doctor. Beastmaster, oh, no, he doesn't get hit by that Sunstrike. That would have been a big kill if he could get that one, but it's a 3-for-1 in the end. Aegis goes down and immediately Sing buys back, I think recognizing that, hey, I just need to start pressing out these lanes. I've got this Octarine Axe build. My value comes from being alive and just spamming my ultimate, spamming trees every single lane possible.
And it just seems like Empire have just been able to mitigate that quite effectively, because they've never really had any issue of at least pushing out bottom and usually at least keeping equilibrium on the other two lanes. Now, Scandal just jumps up here, finds Sing, and has a minute to TP, but he's mostly focusing on the backup, turning it around with the Deafening Blast EMP, but so much health on this PL.
Yeah. Unfortunate that Doppelganger just managed to still avoid a large number of spells and silhouette. He's
Okay,
going back in,
might
he's
be a
going
little
aggressive. He says, let's take this fight. You won't get the kill on Sing Sing, and with the Ice Wall there, he won't find any follow-up, but that really shows the position this PL is in when he can make aggressive plays such as that. He's picked up a Demon Edge now, so I can only imagine that's going to be an MKB to help counterplay the Gyro Butterfly.
And that should work pretty well against the Gyrocopter, who has already been proven a couple of times to not be as tanky as he'd like to be. I'm sure he has the mechanism behind the pipe as well, but just a couple spells go at him, and if the BKB comes out a little bit late or just expires, then you're going to be seeing that 2k HP pool chewed into very quickly.
And that last team fight in so many ways was like a dream fight. It was like a black hole not just on a PL, it got PL and Broodmother. So many things went right. The Rubik was dead, there was no black hole steal. On top, and they used a buyback as well, Nature's Prophet, but they still lost it pretty badly. Smoke on smoke here at mid lane. Afterlife is going to be running in first, gets stunned up immediately. The 4-star BKB coming into play as Cast not going to find any more targets to bounce to. Enigma in the front lane is not a position where he wants to be, but he's found King Eye on the side. He can take out this Rubik. It does free things up to go for the black hole. It's still on cooldown for another 15 seconds, and Rubik dead marks his death spot with an X.
Yeah, Sing Sing with the gem stolen, and that's a Rubik actually dead for 48 seconds. This is going to be a full-on 5v4, the first fair fight that Kaipi can actually force out. The entire game, has been about Kaipi forcing a fair fight.
Fair fight? You call this fair? It's 5-on-4, Blaze. That's not fair. You've been very interesting.
For the way Empire's been playing, I'd say it's as fair as it can get.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Empire's not been a fair team. They're going all in. They got the Gyro Rapier. They're going for this. There's no way to steal the black hole. They can try and use the Raw to deal with it, but oh my gosh, Miposhka, luckily for him, he's got the Glimmer. Sunstrike is there. It misses though. They've taken out they've taken out the Raxi in the mid lane, but it's Beastmaster running the top lane. Black hole is there. They're going into Afterlife with all Scandal with the Meteors, the damage there. Silhouette, he's dead. He's got buyback. Brood does not. Beastmaster's still going for the Rat Dota place, but Invoker's gotten himself a triple kill. They may just go for the throne here. What's the plan, Ramses? He gets the lane of Rax at top. He can't go for Mega Creep with the tier 2 tower, and he's going to come back and defend the base. Peel's got buyback, but Kaipi! They may have found a way to break through. The Rubik's there, but there's not really... Oh, how do you steal Black Hole? How long ago did he cast it? And the hero of this game, Rubik, catches everyone in it. Bone 7's trying to fight his way through, but he's going to go down. He's going to lose the Rapier. Oh no, everything was looking so good. It still is though. Kaipi are buying back. They bring Gyrocopter back into the fray, and Empire have lost numbers here. The PL's low. He's going to heal up. He needs to get back to base, and he's alone except for Ramses. Ramses on this Beastmaster without a Roar has got to defend. Where is that goddamn Rapier? Who's got their hands on it? It's the Witch Doctor! Witch Doctor, he passes it back. It hadn't been picked up by Empire, so Bone 7 has a Rapier to try and end this game. He's going to go for the Throne Blaze.
Oh my god, that's so insane.
I can't believe he gets Black Hole there. That is like
That is ridiculous, but
unforgivable almost, but Kaipi going in, looking for the throne now. Bone 7 with the Alacrity. He's got BKB, and I don't see a way to defend this. There's still no glyph. Silhouette's just going to blink on in. He's trying to fight his way through Bone 7. Bone 7's just flacking off the throne. He's going to get the kill. No, he's just going to go for the throne, and they've won. Kaipi take game 1. Holy hell. What a way for Kaipi to make their debut.
That's absolutely ridiculous, but it's not like it's any fault of Empire. They played an incredible game, a game where in most situations they were outmatched in their draft, and their Broodmother had a terrible start, but they were able to make such an impact across the entire map. The way they moved, the way they just pressed these lanes, it really felt like they were completely in control until that last set of fights. 4 Roshan's not enough, make it 5, because Empire end up losing out in that last fight. Still though, if there's one thing that I think Kaipi need to take away from that, it's channeled spells need to be protected, because Kingar is going to grab them.
Yeah, Black Holes. I mean, Black Hole's one of those sometimes unavoidable ones, but Death Ward, again, it's like the golden rules of playing against Rubik as Witch Doctor. Proc your Voodoo Restoration while you're Death Warding. It doesn't cancel it, and you've got to prevent that steal line.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for me. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. something more than what we had. And maybe the stars align, but our hearts can't mend together. And I need you more than you will know. I need you more than you know. I need you more than you know. Maybe we both were meant for something more than what we had. And maybe the stars align, but our hearts can't mend together. I need you more than you will know. I need you more than you know. I need you more than you know.
Both teams break out in the next one, man. Because if it could top that, it will be mind blowing. That's for certain.
I mean, I'm already a fan of both these teams now after that first game. If they're going to produce such entertaining Dota, but I need more. I crave more here on my Monday morning. And what better way? I mean, it's freaking Monday, man. Monday's meant to be shit, but these teams apparently did not get the memo.
Nah. Well, I don't know. So Wisp and OD gonna be the bad out. for Kaipi. Initially, they're going to be going for their first pick here and thinking about it heavily. Maybe don't want to go as hard into the Earth Spirit. They go Bat Rider.
Oh.
A Bat Rider first pick?
I was going to say a Bone 7 Classic, but Bone 7's playing carry for the team, so perhaps this... I mean, Sing Sing also plays this hero very well, so...
No, come on. Bone 7, safe lane carry Bat Rider. Refresher,
Sure.
Aghanim's Aether Lens. Let's
I
go.
mean, we saw like a safe lane Beastmaster. I don't think it's like an outlandish concept to run a Bat Rider in the safe lane. Maybe not your conventional way of doing it, but I think it's viable. But we're going to see immediate response from Empire. They pick up the Venge Earth Spirit. Earth Spirit, of course, still that kind of top tier, just roaming support, and Venge the quote-unquote counter to Bat Rider, and just a good hero support in general. You're on the dire side, it gives you the Roche advantage. We saw how important Roche was last game. Well, I don't know how important it was since it ended up losing, but in theory it was quite important. And we'll see Empire again probably put some emphasis on Roshan towards as far as their strategies go.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty interesting here. I mean, obviously, Kaipi, in this kind of a draft, they're going to be all about their tempo and their timing windows. When they have Blink, Lasso, and Smoke, they're going to go for their first set of kills and then try to push off of that, take a tier 1 tower with the Chen creeps. Then you're going to look to farm a little bit more, upgrade to your Force Staff, and get more opportunities to pull people out of position. Generally speaking, in this game, you're going to have to Lasso the Venge, which isn't ideal. Obviously, it's a support, but the alternative is the Lasso doesn't stick. So, yeah, you're going to be looking for the Venge for the most part, and looking to just dominate the map. You take 2 or 3 towers in advantage over your opponents, and you get a lot of wards down. It makes it very difficult for the Empire to control the map the way they did in Game 1, and it makes it very possible for the Bat Rider to just pick up a gem and start suppressing vision as well. So from there, you're able to just kind of make sure that Empire are always moving the way you expect them to, control the map, and to play your own game.
The next pick is going to be the Ember Spirit, and I believe that's probably a hero they want to have match up in the safe lane against Darkseer. They don't actually know who's going mid yet, so it's kind of risky to... at the same time, it could be kind of flexible, like, okay, if Empire picks something mid, that's going to be match up fine, we send Ember there, but quite likely we see Ember in the safe lane against Darkseer with some kind of good zoning support. The Oracle taken out, but there's still options like Disruptor, Witch Doctor, who can fit in quite nicely.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty interesting to see how Team Empire's lineup really works together. And a Kunkka! Oh boy, this could be very interesting indeed.
What is... I mean, normally we're seeing the Kunkka, it's like that kind of 4-position Kunkka, but when you've got a Chen, I feel running a support Kunkka becomes a lot less viable.
The only way you can make it work is if you're going for a slight early on Ember Spirit. If the Ember Spirit in the safe lane gets slight and 2 points of Searing Chains, you get a 2-second disable, setting up a 1.7-second torrent. So you go Ember Kunkka versus Darkseer. Doesn't sound good because you get the Darkseer free level 3.
Yeah.
There's no way you can test the lane until level 3. But let's say you give Ember Spirit the Bounty Rune, you get the fast level 3 out.
That's a lot of like ifs.
Combo
and,
everything.
ifs and like just things that are unlikely to happen, I guess I'd say. Like as far as I don't think you want Ember getting the Bounty Rune as a safe laner, but
It's awkward. It really is. I'm not the biggest fan of the Kunkka pickup here. Obviously, it can give a lot of potential in terms of mitigating burst damage from like the when you get Vac walled together, Thunder God's Wrathwall comes out, that's half your HP bar. The Kunkka Storm will allow you to mitigate that, the Hand of God even more so. So they can turn this Ember Spirit into actually a relatively durable hero despite him being a super glass cannon.
I mean, as far as actually like trying to not have weak lanes, I think there is still a possibility to run the Bat Rider mid and put Kunkka in the off lane, because that to me would be like a more standard way to shore up your lanes and then be able to still draft a strong laning support, like to go with the Ember Spirit, because I feel like even if you get the Ember Spirit level 3, you're not going to guarantee a kill on Darkseer at that point, because Darkseer is going to have like level 4 or something by already himself then, so... It seems Empire may be suspecting some kind of safe lane carry to match up better against the Darkseer than the Ember, because Ember versus Zeus mid lane, I feel like Ember can do okay there. Yeah, he's going to not be able to rely too much on his Flame Guard, but it's not as bad as some other mid matchups that he can find himself in.
Alright, I am noting that a Cancel has played a lot of Ember Spirit, and some of it has been pretty recent, so I actually think that there's a real possibility of them running just the mid-Ember up against the Zeus, get a Magic Stick on this guy, Flame Guard, and he should be able to deal with it pretty well. Yeah. Obviously, you still have to be a little bit worried about that Earth Spirit rolling bouldering in on a hero that, until level 6, can't really reposition himself, but there's definitely potential with it. The question is, what is this Kunkka doing? Is it going to be... is there going to be another hero in the lane to assist in the torrent setup, or is it just going to go do it yourself with the X mark?
Alright. We'll know a lot more about what Kaipi has in mind when we see this last pick, and I'll kind of put things together a bit more. See what, as you kind of mentioned, Cancel has been playing a lot of the Ember Spirit, so more likely we see them pick up some kind of a safe lane farmer to verse that Darkseer. And without Gyrocopter, options are a little bit more limited. Juggernaut was also banned out. I was about to say Jug's like the next one that comes to mind, but then I looked up and I was like, oh, wait, he's also banned. That's not a thing. Sven is not really great. This is like, if you're a Darkseer in this game, I'm sure Afterlife is just like, man, this looks like a really good, easy game for me. But he probably also thought that last game when he 5th picked a Broodmother, was like, yeah, this is going to be great. I've 5th picked myself a Brood, they've got no counter, and then he ends up 0-3. So perhaps he doesn't want to think too far ahead. Lion picked up, so Core Kunkka.
Yeah.
Off-lane Kunkka. We'll see who picks up, or I don't...
I mean, like, I don't see value in an offlane Kunkka is the problem, so I think you'd go mid with it or something, that kind of old classic.
What do you mean? I think you get value just because you're getting levels. It's kind of like the same concept of like what used to be the offlane Earthshaker, for example, or you get your levels and you kind of move around a bit. But I definitely agree it's something a bit wonky, and it's hard. Getting your levels is the hard bit. You're against an Earth's Avenge. There's an Earth Spirit roaming. Like, Kunkka isn't a hero that can easily leech XP out of the offlane.
I mean, I haven't really played much on European servers recently, but I don't think Iron Talon Kunkka is a thing. So
Iron Talon anything is a thing, Blaze. That's your first mistake, is not recognizing that you can get Iron Talon on any hero you want to. If you put your mind to it, you can do it. Bone.
All right. Well, Bone 7 will be picking up his classic, but the question is where the roles change based on that.
Kunkka? I mean, that's kind of a classic in some ways.
Oh, it certainly is. Oh my goodness.
I'm sure there's a lot of people in the chat who've watched a lot of his stream and just love to see him play a Kunkka here.
He's got to learn from his enemy. He's got to beat attacker. I don't know if you've watched the clip where he like there's a Kunkka canceling animations on his torrent and his boat, and then Sig uses Yules on himself to dodge it, and then Kunkka goes ahead and torrents a boats him because he didn't actually cast it the first time.
Oh no!
But, there are a lot of mind games to be played.
Fun times. Well, we'll see where Sing Sing's Kunkka play is at. He's definitely a hero. He's played a decent amount in the past. He's got his own pro gear on. Perfect. You wouldn't have it any other way. Sing Sing. Perhaps just using this match to market his gear. It's like, oh guys, I just want to increase sales on my cosmetics. Then we'll take game 3.
Easy. But yeah, we're gonna be seeing Bone 7 offlane. So the obviously Bone 7 playing Batrider offlane is not something that anybody will be surprised about. The surprising thing is how Kaipi are actually looking to, essentially with this, send a message of dynamic roles in a lineup. A few teams have tried this, where they have very clearly like a change-up of who plays what in different core roles, but the only ones that really seem to have worked historically are the ones that switch between carry and safe lane positions. The ones that deviate into who's in the off lane, who's in a support role, will generally just have so many crossed wires that at some point it's better to be stationary.
I don't think there's ever been like a really... I think the one example I can think of which worked where they did that was Rave, where Chrissy would sometimes play support, but that was only because they picked Wisp, and it was very much like, oh, we picked Wisp, Chrissy's going to play support. It was never like it was not like as like flexible in the sense that it was like all over the place. It was just that one exception.
Well, maybe the Batrider is the Bone 7 exception. We'll have to see. But first picking Batrider, letting them have the Venge or Spinner response, and now throwing their carry into the offlane. This is going to be a doozy.
Any chance of Cancel getting this bottom rune? He may actually get there in time. This is going to be close. He had a chance to get it. I mean, the Searing Chains doesn't really help you get the bounty rune, but it was very much an attempt to throw Scandal off. And if he gets that bounty rune, this mid lane would have gone incredibly well for Sing Sing, who managed to get a bounty rune of his own, has magic skill. I feel like this is a pretty tough lane for a Zeus in general. Kunkka has a lot of kill potential. There's going to be a roaming Chen. You'll be very wary of what can come your way. And Zeus here in the mid lane, who's very vulnerable to ganks because he doesn't have any good escape.
And I think the cool thing is now Sting can use this Tidebringer as a toggle. We haven't really ever seen this come into play because all the Kunkkas recently have been supports, and so you don't really care about Tidebringer. But this is something where essentially you can only use it to push when you want to, and you can only use it to harass when you want to, because you could obviously keep it off the entire laning phase if you so choose.
Bottom lane already a lot of damage coming out into Mad here, and if Miposhka hits another rolling boulder, this could be a kill. He's got in a couple of seconds. I imagine he's going to go for this because this would be a first blood, but Mad manages to get away the boots first. Saving his life there, I almost want to say. And now Chen coming in. He's got an Impale, Centaur stun. The Impale, not a very long stun. The Centaur, it's going to try and juke through the trees. Gets surged up as well. Nice little play there, but damage could still come here, Mad. It's got another Impale. Could go for Afterlife instead, but doesn't look like he's going to find it. Still, they push back the aggression from the Darkseer Earth Spirit. I think that goes... I mean, it doesn't really... Not a win for either team, but I think that's fine for Kaipi. Keeping line alive and more
was
anything.
moved out of the jungle a little bit, but I mean, obviously the more important thing is that first line was not first blood, entirely based on the boots.
We were talking about how their core swapped up roles. Their supports basically did too. This time around we have Come With Me playing the jungler. Like, we go from Mad playing the jungle Enigma to Come With Me. Yeah, it's a different hero, and again, that's the reason why it swapped the roles, because there's like someone who's better and more comfortable in a certain hero, but it's a complete role reversal for every single player on the Kaipi side.
I mean, that's definitely true. I would have to say it's obviously closer between the supports. The one Lion and Witch Doctor are nearly identical. Like, obviously that's not true, but in a playstyle perspective, you don't have to vary your play too much. I guess it just comes down to who's the better Chen, and right now they feel it's Come With Me.
We'll roll in that bottom lane cancel. Gonna get hit by the slows as well as the Iron Shell damage. Forced to Searing Chains, and he's gone for 2 points in that just to help break the distance between himself and the Earth Spirit. And also, I mean, that Flame Guard gets... I mean, level 1 Flame Guard especially going to be almost a non-presence in this lane, but level 2 gets a little bit better when it gets up to that 200 magic Absorb.
Oh, Zeus might be in trouble here. If Scandal goes in for an Arc Lightning, Sync's going to go for the X, and that should be a kill, because they've got the Chen smoked up on the high
It's
ground.
only level 1 X, though, so he's got to get very close to Scandal. That's where I'd imagine Sing, probably level 5, going to look for like a second point in it, if anything, but... Wait and see here. Scandal playing very defensively on his high ground with Chen missing off the map. Although, with that said, Chen is almost always missing off the map, so...
Yeah. I'd argue that the second point Torrent is actually probably the mistake there. Like, obviously you get a little bit more damage, but I feel like if you're going to expect a Chen gank, an opportunity like that, Bone 7 should be okay, just barely getting over the cliff, but...
Bone 7, typical, like, he's going to get that extra bit of damage that he can. Actually, the Venge, really needs to be careful. Has 10 stick charges, though, so he's almost trying to bait Bat Rider in for another stun and won't find it.
Yeah. I feel like level 2 X Mark is insane now. Like, they actually buffed, they nerfed level 1 X Mark at one point and actually buffed level 2. And I just feel like if you get level 4 on a Kunkka, you should have that second point in X because it can create so many opportunities. He has it now, so it might be a moot
It's the
point.
mind game where you're level 4 and Zeus thinks you have level 2X, so he doesn't get in level 2X range, but joke's on him, you've only got level 1, you know? It's like it's like
you don't have X at all, haha.
It reminds me of like
stats.
it reminds me of like the old school Terrorblade. Before people like understood how to play Terrorblade, everyone would get Sunder at level 6, and the first few people who went like the max Metamorph Images build and skip Sunder, like they don't get ganked because everyone's like, oh, they have Sunder. I don't want to gank them. I'm gonna get Sunder, but they just never leveled it. They never had it. Just it's the threat, the worry that it exists. So we'll see Chen come top. So it looks like Chen deciding to help out the Bat Rider a bit, and also maybe thinking that they can find some kills up here, but just a level 3 Chen. And throwing out those Hadoukens.
Scandal, we'll see how quick it takes for Sing to call this. Scandal did get the Invis-Rune, walks away from the lane, but it heads right on back, and is not actually showing himself, but I think it's enough to get Kaipi worried. I don't think Bone 7 and
He's
Kaipi want to commit.
He's just come back mid with the Arc Lightning out. He's level 5, I guess, so he's probably thinking, hey, if I go top and don't find a kill, it's not worth it, and there was Radiant Vision spotting him pick up the rune, so... But now, Sing Sing hits level 6, and this is danger time for the mid lane Zeus. Zeus, 18 CS, Kunkka seeing on 27 CS, 10 denies, he's going to hit the torrent, they're both to follow up. X as well has been cast, and Sing, I don't know if he's got the damage, so he's going to X now, but... Scandal's fine.
Torrent.
Yeah. Sing doing some damage there, but realistically, he was thinking all about the kill.
And if you note that even Scandal's dropping lightning bolts to us, assuming there's got to be a high ground ward, because that was actually a nighttime blind torrent from Sing.
Yeah.
Really well done.
It was well done, but like your Zeus had more than enough health to survive, so he's going to bottle crow a bit and Sing.
It's swag points, dude. Like he's again, just selling the set.
Yeah, exactly. He's got to work it, man. Work that runway. So far, so good. Next time we need some kills. We need some rapiers as well. If I don't see a Sing Sing rapier this game, like I'm not buying this set. If he buys a rapier, I will buy a Sing Sing Kunkka set on stream.
Does he have to have the Mask of Manus with it, or?
No, I'm okay with that. Without, I just want the rapier. You know, that's all it's gonna take. But can you actually buy? Is it in the store or is it in like one of the chests and you got to like RNG your way into it? I don't actually know.
No idea, dude. You're asking the wrong guy about hats. I'm afraid. King
Smoked
R
up
should
mid.
be going down here.
Yeah, this is actually first blood. We're 6 minutes in. There hasn't been a kill yet. I say first blood. It has to happen first. King R. So there's a bit of health to fight around, but the 2 creeps will be more than enough. Sing Sing trying to throw a torrent for the last hit, but it'll go the way of the Chen. Bottom lane, cancel. How's he been doing? He's level 6, 22 CS, Darkseid Sing on 18. Afterlife is... Oh, Zeus
Sing.
ultimate. They're trying to fight. Yeah, Sing Sing gets low. He goes down to the Earth Spirit roll, and Mad couldn't respond in time. There's an ensnare impale here if they want to trigger the Earth Spirit, and that they will. Here comes Ember Spirit. He's rotating towards the mid lane. Does have the Mango. Will need to pop it. Can Fire Spirit forward, but doesn't have the mana for his full combo then, so he's not going to go in. If he used the Remnant forward, he had just one other spell, and he needed both Flame Guard and Searing Chains.
Yeah.
So an unsuccessful
That's really
TP. I feel like Afterlife
Yeah.
of all players and heroes maybe should have gotten more out of this offlane. I'm a bit surprised to see him like getting out-farmed by what's kind of become a solo Ember Spirit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously when Ember Spirit hits level 5, he's a little bit stronger in this matchup. Just the immolation effect from the Flame Guard is much stronger than the Iron Shell. But I can still see like the early part of the laning just go so favorably for Afterlife, especially since he's seen the Chen a couple of times.
Yeah.
He's not been really worried about like, Dark Troll Summoners coming out.
Hello, early Roche. Stalinia, or Ramses, as you guys know him, has picked up a Mask of Madness already and straight into the Roshan pit with King R. This will give them a big boost of experience. They'll give them the Aegis to play around with, so Ramses can be very aggressive with this Mask of Madness, but here comes Chen. It looks like it's going to be too late. Roche should be secured. Ramses has already committed his ultimate, though, so he needs to be a little bit careful, and Chen could look for a deny or something on the Aegis, but it looks like Ramses, yeah, he's already in position. We'll pick up the Aegis, no problems. And Kaipi unable to contest this one.
And the army's gone too, which means Chen's going to have to kind of reset and get as many new creeps as he can. Maybe Mud Golem is what he's going to have to settle for, because going to be feeding all 3 of those creeps away, like suddenly that's another minute and a half that you have to work to reclaim and build your forces back up. And that's the time that Ursa's getting aggressive. He's got Mask of Madness and Aegis. He'll farm for maybe a minute or so, but when he's got the phase boots, he's going to start diving towers.
I was about to say, the phase boot seems to be like a good time to start smoking up, looking for a bit more aggression and trying to take the fight, but that run very close to a blink. Bone 7 on point as always. 8 minutes in, Sing on 2k gold, and this will be a like 9-10 minute blink dagger, probably closer to the 10 minute mark, but still very good as far as his timing's concerned. And that's Batrider, definitely a good hero to deal with the Ursa, but the problem's always going to be, is King R there to counterplay with the swap?
And in the meantime, Ember Spirit just kind of slowly farm down bottom. Do you think that's a BOT game for the Ember Spirit, where he just wants to dodge the fights and keep moving around the map? Or does he just hard rush something to try to get into the fight sooner?
I'm fine with the BOTs. I don't think there's any need to go for like a fast drums or anything. If anything, he wants to have that ability to just fight away from... He doesn't want to fight into the Zeus, because he's going to instantly lose his Flame Guard at this stage of the game. Speaking of Zeus, he's run his way into the Radiant jungle, found 2 heroes, the Chen and the Lion. Hasn't actually killed off either of them immediately. Ramsey's trying to chase. It's going to be an X, Torrent, Boat, Silhouette in trouble. He's going to get combo down. Sing Sing takes him out. Does see the Ursa with the Darkseid take out the Lion, and it's very difficult to fight this Surge. This is an Iron Shell Ursa who can get Surge as well, so he may not even need the phase boost because of that. In comes Batrider though, and Ramsey's in some trouble here. He's got the ultimate, he's going to pop it, but they've already lost Sing. They're going to lose instantly Bone 7 as well, and... well, not the fight they were hoping for. This Darkseid pick just enables the Ursa so much. Having an Iron Shell to just help give that little bit of extra damage output, and more importantly the Surge to help chase with. Ramsey's just a beast in these fights.
Yeah. And I feel like, I mean, it was clear that Sing Sing could have just TP'd out of that situation. There's no vacuum on the Darkseer, but he thought that there was an opportunity to turn it, to fight it with a couple of new Chen creeps, and that's when the sports actually roam in and make their presence known. We haven't really felt too much of the Venge Earth Spirit early, a little bit Earth Spirit bottom, but for the most part, this is one of their first big involvements, and we need to see a lot more from them. I mean, they got their levels, they kind of spread the map and got their experience, which is great because their ultimates are very effective. But yeah, I still think that we're going to look for Empire to, as a whole, like not just rely on their cores. They want to be able to do things with the Earth Spirit and such as well.
It's a very different, like for Kaipi, it feels like their supports have been the ones making all the movements so far.
Exactly.
And on the side of Empire, it's been a very different story, where more so the Zeus and even the Ursa have been kind of the playmakers. Or the Darkseid, the core heroes. So we'll see Kaipi kind of group up here in the mid lane. I think recognizing that, yes, Ursa's got an Aegis, but can't exactly commit into a big grouped up team fight necessarily all too well. Fighting into the boat, never going to be easy. And Sing Sing is building towards the Aether Lens, has Arcane Boots with the Ring of Health, so looking for that extra range and catch on the X marks the spot.
This could be a nice opportunity here on the Zeus. The Venge is waiting for that swap, though.
Oh, they've gone in for the lasso. Sing Sing was not quite in range. Okay, he's going to find a new target instead. The swap out means the Torrent, the boat, is going to land on King R, and he's going to go down in the Firefly. But elsewhere, the Lion got
they got
dealt
the X?
with. Yep. Silhouette in trouble. He's going to try break out the Flame Guard. He gets caught, though. He does break the Flame Guard. Throws the Zeus ultimate as well. In comes Ramses on the Ursa. Has a Blink Dagger as well. Needs to...
Another X.
He blinks in. He goes for the Chen. He doesn't get the kill before the X brings him back. And Sing Sing now the one in trouble. Unfortunately for him, he needs to maybe buy the Aether Lens, but while he still can, he's getting low. Stalenia wants to chase another X. It's keeping this Ursa back. Sing Sing doing such a good job of controlling this Ursa. You think you've got a Blink Dagger, you think you've got mobility? Well, this Kunkka says otherwise. Another X back, a Torrent. He's got an Aegis, so I don't think Kaipi want to overcommit to killing off this Ursa. Has committed the Enrage already, so... Whoop, bit of an unnecessary X this time around, and we'll see if Sing Sing goes for this. It just disappears completely, and unfortunately that means Stalenia will get the Blink Escape. Torrent unable to land on the respawn.
Alright, but I mean, you can see the effectiveness here. 8-second cooldown on this X, and Sing Sing's able to just play the Ursa like a fiddle. He's able to just completely manipulate his position. It's like you're permanently glimpsed. You're tethered to this one location, and you keep on getting back to it.
It's so absurd. Like, watching that fight was so... And it feels like, okay, eventually he's going to run out of mana, but this spell costs 50 mana. He had Arcane Boots.
Yeah.
Now he's got an Aether Lens, and with Bottle and Wand, he's got more than enough mana to spam it out all day long, so... We're going to continue to see that, and... Suddenly, okay, let's say Cancel was bringing something out in the crew. I was like, oh, has he got Boots of Travel? Like, holy hell, he was poor early. Yeah, he's still poor. Cancel's having a very rough game. Despite not dying, he's 1-0. He just hasn't found the space to farm. He's looking at like a couple, 2.5 CS a minute right now, and it's been a very tough game for him just because of the lineup he's against.
So I feel like in response to this, Ramses has to build some controlling items. Scotty and Abyssal Blade are the two that I'm looking at because he has to actually make sure that his target stays next to him. The big strength of the X mark is that if the enemy walks away, the Ursa can't follow because he gets yanked back. But if there's a point in time where those two are together at the same time, and he can keep it that way for as long as possible through Vacuum, not through Swap, unfortunately, because you need that for the lasso, but through something like an Abyssal Blade, then you're going to be able to still get those kills. So Xmark is going to be buying time and buying space against this Ursa for the next 20 or so minutes, but as Ursa's items progress, I still feel like he's going to be able to latch on.
Well, the fun's just begun for Sing Sing. He wants to fight some more. He's coming in towards this bottom lane. Mad leading the way in the Lion. Scandal looking for any kind of signs of life there. They're going to lose the tower here, but it looks like they may be ready to fight Cancel. Going to be forced to Remnant away. The X, the boat, hits Selenia, but that's not going to be enough to bring him down. He did have the Enrage up. He gets ensnared. He's still being controlled. He's being kited around, but the Magnetize is going to do a lot of AoE damage to the entire Kaipi squad, and with the Chen swapped in, that's going to be, so far, the lone casualty. Bone 7 did not manage to get the lasso for the blink in. It's going to be Darkseid taking out Kunkka, and without Kunkka, this fight gets a whole lot trickier for Kaipi. They don't have that control, that kiting capabilities against the Ursa, and Ursa, as a result, just blinks in. Iron Shell, nope, that's not going to be enough, but the Wave of Terror will be, and Cancel. He's completely out of HP and mana. One more right click's all he's going to need, and the pull brings him down, and a very convincing teamfight victory for Team Empire. That's, I guess, the answer. Well, less the answer for the X, but the answer for the burst damage of the boat is just making sure you time the Enrage properly. And unfortunately for Kaipi, pretty much the entire fight, Ember Spirit just wasn't in fighting shape.
Yeah, I mean, they were all running on such low HP. Until they get the mechanism on Come With Me, they're going to be in that situation much more frequently. So they not only have to worry about how the spacing works out in the fights, but they just have to get their health back up. They're going to be up against a Veil of Discord, and pretty soon a level 11 on the Zeus. Like, between the Earth Spirit and the Zeus, there's a lot of damage being inflicted upon Kaipi, and they're just all running around at low HP. They have to start building themselves up, get tankier, and obviously with the Chen, make sure that effective HP is there. Of course, part of that comes down to the way the boat was used. It only hit on the Ursa, and I don't think they got much value out of the Kunkka's Realm, the debuff there. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that it's going to be on Kaipi to make sure that they get the fights close together, and that it's all about positioning, really, for these engagements.
And I really like the point you kind of bring up about the Zeus and the Earth Spirit. If anything, the Ursa doesn't need to get a ton of kills or do huge damage in a fight. It's like a Zeus and Earth Spirit can just clean up themselves. Like you can't just make the mistake if you're Kaipi of thinking the Ursa's the problem. He's on the front lines, yes, and he's the hero that gets in your face. But if you ignore the Zeus and the Earth Spirit and they get off a good Magnetize and Zeus gets off just tons of spells in a fight, they're the ones that are actually going to kill you.
You mean?
Yeah, if he hits R. I mean, you get a few extra Arc Lightnings and Static Field procs, it's always nice as well, but And the other thing, it's so hard for Kaipi because they can't really fight so well on their own terms because they can't rely on this Batrider Blink Dagger initiation when there's a Vengeful Spirit in the game, and it means their initiation has to come from the Kunkka. He's got to try and force out an early swap to give Bone 7 opportunities to get a lasso off him. Poshka, perhaps getting a bit aggressive here at the top lane. He's actually on his own. And looking for the solo kill. Batrider blink back defensively. Mech going to come out as well. Poshka's going to run another rolling boulder, and it looks like he will escape.
Yeah, it's his last rock, though. Hey, he's going to get an X. They're going to Penitence X. He has no boulders left to work with.
Nope. Well, he may just be... No, he's going to be okay. It's a big chase. I'm just surprised, like, Earth Spirit rolled in there by himself, and two, like, no one else came from Empire. They didn't need to, and nice TP out from the Earth Spirit will avoid the Lion stun. But the real attention's the mid lane for Empire. Oh, they see this TP coming in from Lion. They're going to throw the boat. It's going to be onto Afterlife. He's on the Darkseer, but he's got the mech himself. He heals himself back up a little bit off to the side. It's going to be a death onto the Lion. He TP in to his own demise as Starlenia Ramses is going on a rampage here. He's just tearing apart Kaipi. He finds Cancel as well, and that's 3 dead. Darkseer actually getting credited both those recent 2 kills, and I mean, you look at this net worth on the heroes here, and it's just a very grim sight for Kaipi. They can fight okay-ish in some situations, but who's actually got any farm right now? And the answer really is no one.
Yeah, and it means that no matter how much you accomplish with your ultimates, like in the end, it's still going to be Empire that starts snowballing at this stage in the game, and they're going to continue to do so until I'd say around the time Zeus hits level 16. Around that point, then they start tapering, but up until that moment, they're just continuing to build up their damage output, and even the Kunkka's Realm on 2 or 3 heroes there did not do hardly anything. Bone 7's actually going to be subject to some gank action, but he's going to be able to blink out just narrowly.
Missing both the roll and the boulder smash, unfortunately. Otherwise, I likely would have seen a kill opportunity there on Bone 7, but he's got back up now. Sing behind him. Not quite reaching that level 2 ultimate just yet. Very close to level 11. We'll see what Bone 7 can get done here in the top lane. Lasso coming up soon, but again, Venge is already in position for the swap. It's level 1 swap, but with an Aether Lens. That level 1 swap is pretty impressive here. This boat coming on through, they've swapped in aggressively. This means Bone 7 can maybe look to make a play with the Lasso. Here comes Cancel on the front lines, but he's going to quickly lose the Flame Guard, I can imagine, into the Zeus. They're trying to focus down the Zeus, but he's just holding his own, throwing spells. He gets healed back up. Now he gets lassoed in the Firefly, but he's going to be A-okay. 4 dead. No deaths on the side of Team Empire, and it was a very straightforward team fight in the end. The swap even being allowed to get used aggressively, and that really just speaks to how far ahead Empire are. They don't even have to use the swap defensively against the Lasso. They're just not scared of anything anymore.
Exactly, and as soon as if the Ursa goes for the Ags, they don't even have to reserve swap anymore because he can just break it from his own ultimate. But no matter what, like, it just shows how difficult it is for Kaipi to take fights here. And I feel like a lot of this draft and a lot of this lineup can work very, very well on paper, and maybe even you can get lucky in a scrim or two, and you could like feel like, oh my gosh, this is completely overpowered. We can do X, Y, and Z. But in this case, like, the Ember Spirit has no items. He has nothing. Look at net worth. Oh my gosh, Cancel's net worth is 3260. Oh my gosh.
It's actually crazy because he hasn't. I mean, he's died in the 2 recent fights, but up until like the 15-minute mark, I think he had 1 death or something. He's not been getting ganked or anything. He's just not been finding any farm anywhere on the map. It's purely CS. That's the thing. He's just had no space, no room to farm. This has been. Again, this is where I just feel like they didn't have the right heroes in draft. The Darks are in lane, just able to do too much.
I feel like if you're going to be going for a constantly fight and constantly deal with fights lineup, then you want to hear it differently than Ember. But I guess the tempo of the game did change when the Ursa got picked up. That's when they're like, okay, well, this is not just going to be like a Darkseer mid to late game wombo combo lineup. This is in-your-face lineup through and through. And I feel like Empire, they were able to follow through, not just with their Earth Spirit Venge opener, but the second phase where they picked up the Darkseer and the Ursa really kind of rattled Kaipi in terms of what they had to deal with at a certain period of time.
We talked a bit about items for Ursa to help keep lock heroes in place, and he's picked up a Basher now, so has a little bit of extra control. And he's hunting through this Radiant jungle. Looks like Ramsey's ready, thirsty for blood. But Kaipi have completely vacated mid. They're actually going to head themselves towards the top lane. Age is still in hand. Zeus ultimate just to kind of get some vision as well as a kill on this Lion, perhaps. Another bolt could secure the kill. He gets 1 more static off. Needs to just make sure he doesn't get impaled here.
But
really nice from Scandal.
Why wouldn't he just TP, though? Like, I don't really
Between-
understand that.
oh, yeah,
As soon as
after
the
that
lightning
first
bolt
bolt,
vision
yeah.
fades.
Yeah. I guess he's worried about the Yules, but again, like you say, once the vision fades, there's that small little window where it can potentially TP. Blinking forward. Ramses tries to make the play. He's going to get down low here. Not sure if he's going to go down with the Enrage up. It looks like he'll take the TP tower first, and he's not too worried about dying with the Aegis in hand. And Aegis, which still has a pretty good duration on it, so perhaps trying to draw that one out a little bit longer.
I think it's. I guess that's probably just a bit of respect to Scandal. Like the idea is you have to get hit by the lightning bolt. You have to dodge into the tree line and then go for the TP. And by then the lightning bolt's off cooldown, and he's got that Aether Lens range. So he probably just assumed that Scandal will be able to hit the next lightning bolt and went for essentially his only possible play of getting in for the disables.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Once he's made the decision to go for the disable into TP play, like he's already like committed in his mind. He's thinking, okay, this is my play to escape. You don't really you maybe don't adjust well on the fly. Like you don't think, okay, he's kiting me back. I got to just go for the TP out. Like Matt had made up his decision one way or the other.
Sure. So tough spot to be in, but we will see Empire just continue to dominate right now. 18-5. Guardian Greaves up on the Darkseer also. Just some TPs coming out here, so they don't have to worry about any rat plays. But I mean, who's going to be hitting the towers? The Chen has a couple of creeps to play around with, so actually the full 4 army up top. But I don't know. I'm still looking at this Ember Spirit and just shaking my head. Like something went wrong, very, very wrong, with the fact that this Ember Spirit has not been able to farm up a single legitimate.
I love how I still remember you asking me like 10 minutes ago. Oh, is this a game from Just to Go Boots of Travel? And it's not even about what item he goes. It's about the fact he's not going to farm any item whatsoever this game. He narrowly escapes a Ursa gank at the bottom lane, but it's top lane where Kaipi find themselves a kill. That's something, but the TP out, going to get cancelled, and now Afterlife waiting back up here. Zeus as well as Venge both coming in, and we'll see a torrent into the Centaur stun onto Afterlife, but Bone 7 just gets pummeled. The swap back into the Chen. Looks like they're going to be able to bring down Come With Me as well. The X is there, but that's not going to really help keep this Chen alive whatsoever, and it's a 2-for-1 trade. Ursa looking to cut off some of the stragglers or the heroes retreating here, but won't find it.
That was a really good play from the Darkseer. Afterlife just coming in, not only canceling TPs with the vacuum, but kind of baiting them in where it's like, oh, he was just trying to cancel TPs, the $1 million vacuum so that they could just go ahead and do some split push or something like that. But no, it was the full reinforcements coming in. They stuck around. They tried to fight a Guardian Greaves plate mail Darkseer. Not going to work out, and they were able to reinforce that really well. The Zeus has been set up so many times this game. Scandal obviously playing very well himself, but I feel a lot of it comes down to how his team is positioned to enable him.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and we'll see the reward for Empire being pressure onto this last outer tower remaining. They're quickly approaching that point of no return. They've got 5 heroes in the top 6 as far as net worth goes, and that's a big concern for Kaipi, especially when their one hero in that list is not even one of their real, like, carries. It's not the Kunkka mid, it's not the safe lane Ember, it's the offlane Batrider. He's the hero getting the most farm. Definitely a player hero combo that can do a lot. Yeah, I mean, let's say Bone 7 can do a lot, but you don't expect him to be able to do it all alone on a hero like Batrider. He gets scattered by the Zeus ultimate, vacuum back, and well, your most farmed hero in the game for Kaipi getting picked off and taken down.
I don't know. I mean, at this point, cancel. Looks like he won't be going for the BOTs, which makes sense because it's just an item that allows him to move. It doesn't allow him to fight, and I feel like that timing window is closing very quickly. Emperor's going to take the fight to Kaipi very, very soon, and Emperor Spirit has to be able to contribute something. I feel like he has no option but to rush hard Battle Fury.
Oh, you think he is doing that? He's saved up. Yeah. He hasn't committed to anything yet.
I feel like, but like, you're going to be pushed in the base. You know that. They're going to be blinking in and diving you, and how do you really respond to that situation? And unless you're building like drums for raw HP, you're building the Battle Fury to rush it out. We're going to see actually Scandal commit solo, and I think he's actually going to get killed off. Nice little bait there. Cancel, just playing the weak little poor hard carry. Please don't gank me, sir. Oh wait, my entire team's here, but now the entire team of Empire will be moving in, will be stunning out the Ember Spirit, and will be getting their revenge.
Yeah, exactly. They get a little bit of vengeance. Top lane, though, Ramsey's been left alone, and this is an Aegis-less Ursa who's about to get caught in a boat. He did have the Enrage on, blocks all of the damage. He may just have to try and fight his way out of this one, but fighting a Batrider, you're just going to get kited around. Not to mention the X here, they bring down the Ursa. That's a big streak ending. Batrider picks it up. 773 gold going his way. And
Oh, okay. 1 HP tower. Sure, they calculated it. I'm sure.
Huh. All right. Sing Sing knows what he's doing. How big of a, oh, we didn't get to see the recap. No, I'm not sure what kind of swing we're looking at there, but probably something like a 1,500 gold swing. I can only imagine, given Empire have a 20k gold lead. That would have been like a 1,500 to 2,000 gold kind of transition there with the pick-off. And Bone 7 now has picked up a point booster, so looks like we'll be seeing an Aghanim Scepter pick up for him.
Absorb on the Darkseer obviously can be very good against the Batrider. It could also be pretty interesting against the Kunkka. X-marking yourself so that you're as stuck in position as your opponent. It makes things awkward, and of course just being able to quick dispel Hex and things like that is going to be potent as well. So in general, this item can have a lot of potential. It comes down to the way that Afterlife uses it.
We'll see probably Empire prioritize the next Roshan now. We want to get that on Ursa once again. It'll be Aegis as well as Cheese. And so looking at building towards a BKB. So wanting to be able to get away from the X. Normally you'd kind of look towards the Ags being more the go-to item for an Ursa, but Ags, I don't believe it gets you out of the X.
That's not dispellable, so...
Yeah, so with the BKB, however, it will get you out of that X, so... I think kind of prioritizing not getting kited around by the X-Max spot in general against the Kaipi lineup.
It's weird. For allies, BKB will not prevent it, but for enemies, it will.
Gotcha.
So he will go for that, and that should allow him to stay pretty well on target. Dark Troll Summoners and Lassos are pretty much the only thing he's worried about now.
Alright, well, so the next move is going to be 3k gold now in Ember Spirit. You kind of mentioned, yeah, at this point it's very unlikely to be Boots of Travel, looking at probably just a straight Battle Fury. Yeah, one of the more obscure items.
Go Midas, double your net worth.
I mean, for a while I was wondering, is RTZ in this game when I saw this Ember play, so maybe it might just make sense, you know?
Oh, man. Alright.
Whoopsie. So... that slipped out. Alright, turns out I'm not going to Starlight anymore, Blaze. Alright, Chen picks up a pipe for Kaipi, so we've got the pipe to go with the mech. Definitely a useful item against both Zeus and Earth Spirit. They've got the Veil, they've got plenty of AoE magic damage, and they've almost got enough that they can just DPS their way through the pipe, but it's still obviously going to be a good item for that reason. I'm wondering if we'll ever see a Chen start stacking up like the magic resistance creep, if there's ever like a game or a draft where that's worthwhile.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's supposed to, would be very specific to an enemy low. Okay, just going in, gets the bash, but gets stunned as well. Lion, mad, saving the life of Cancel, otherwise that would have been a sure kill. He'll actually get, even after he jumps to the Remnant, gets sent right back home. They're just trying to take care of this poor guy.
Sing Sing and Bone 7 fishing around this top lane, but it seems Afterlife very wary of what's going on, at least as far as seeing a couple heroes missing from the map. He sees the Ember Spirit defending bottom lane, but he knows that he's very vulnerable to even a Batrider.
Do you think that's enough for them to push? I mean, there is still no Battle Fury, as far as I know, on Cancel, and there's no Hand of God up for 35 seconds.
And they take out a couple of Chen creeps as well, so even when Chen comes back to life, he's limited just to healing his team, popping a pipe. Mad. Oh, that boulder smash. Fraction too late and potentially slightly off the mark as well. I think they still want to wait for Roshan personally. I don't think, it's end of the day, it's still just the Chen, who will be respawning very soon, so it looks like they are going to be waiting out Rosh. Are you concerned for Empire, their inability to kind of take a lane of Rax? Their late game Ursa, not the most impressive thing. Zeus is decent late game, but he's not that's your late game carry. To me, I'm almost a little worried about how their lineup goes late game.
You bring up an interesting point. Oh, X-Mark going to be going on Ramses, but he's got the backup.
Oh, he blinks him with the BKB.
Break the X and go hard.
That's one way to do it, and Sing Sing in trouble now as well. He's popped the boat. He's just trying to tank his way through this one. He accepts his fate, it looks like, as he gets swiped down. Zeus is securing the kill. Cancel's been silenced up as well. He gets vacuumed back. Is the damage there? You betcha. They bring him down. Nice play by Mipushka.
See, the trick about sieging bases is the game of Defense of the Ancients usually has to have heroes defending them, but in this case, they're just gonna tear them apart limb from limb and just walk over the towers.
Yeah, those towers have feelings too. You know, those towers do a lot.
Oh man, Batrider forcing, but swap back. I mean, they'll buy back on the Ember Spirit, cutting even further into Cancel's net worth. But
you better watch out for that Perseverance defense here, guys. And Starlenia will actually get dragged into the fountain here. He's got no Aegis, so
Money.
he will go down. There we go. It was a pretty small bounty. Given they had to buy back for it, they got absolutely nothing for it, it looks like. 3 hero impale. Nicely played by Mad, but I'm not sure if that's going to be enough. And a Scandal.
Scandal
TP gets
too.
cancelled, so if they can get this kill, that's a big pickup for them. Unfortunately, again, a lot of these heroes being penalized by the buyback. Although Ember, I don't think, was for that last kill, so he got a lot of money. He got 800 gold out of that. They're going to catch Afterlife as well, and Kaipi, don't lose racks, get a large number of kills. That's a godlike streak being ended by Ember. This Ember's rich. He's got a Battle Fury. He's back in the game, Blaze. And he's not done. He wants more. He's going to find King R. He's probably telling his team, like, guys, this is me. Leave it for me, guys. Come on. I've got this. Hey, he gets the kill secure. Sleight of fist, 440 gold. Triple kill for cancel.
Here comes the money. All right. Well, this Ember Spirit's actually got a pretty considerable GPM.
So,
gods. I mean,
Lion and Ember both gained... He bought back, but still gained 2k gold. That's saying something.
just yeah, he's been under a lot of pressure, but being able to keep up 358 GPM, this is a pretty solid Ember Spirit game. Great performance for Cancel. Though I have no idea why Empire were next to the fountain. I mean, this is something where you could just hit the tier 3 towers and not get overzealous, but
CIS Dota Blaze, that's why.
Rage.
CIS Dota, you know, every now and then you feel it, it's in your blood, you're like, man, we gotta go. The fountain, it beckons us. Especially when you're playing a hero like Ursa. Ursa more than anyone. Well, some signs of life. We saw it last game. This game, I would say it'd be a much bigger comeback than last game, but still not out of the cards just yet.
So, going back to a point that you were making before all that circus broke out, is the idea that actually Empire don't have a dedicated siege hero. They don't have like something that can attack at 600 range with an Aegis, sit there and just poke the towers down. They have to actually get kind of dirty with it. They
Get
have
kills.
to go on the front line. They probably need a kill to break through the base. So if Kaipi play around it, they can definitely try to limit the potential for Empire to just siege hard.
And I think that's very much why they were at the fountain. It was because it's like, well, maybe not so much the fountain, a bad example, but that's why they chase for kills. It's because they recognize we don't actually break buildings. We don't siege. We have to go for kills. We'll Zeus Ultimate. We'll see some of these heroes here, but it's the Batrider to the east. He's the one that Afterlife wants. Will he be able to keep cancelling the blink here? But no, there's Ramses, the Chen heal. It's going to be not enough. Almost found a way to get that blink off. Could have maybe saved his life, and looks like Kaipi just going to go full on retreat here. Swap onto Ember. Immediate Remnant away. Nicely played by Cancel to get away from that gang. And Poshka perhaps needed to combo a Boulder Smash or a Silence as the swap came out, but we'll see if Kaipi can defend now with Batrider dead. That's the hero that pulls people into the fountain. That makes defending your high ground when you can't pull people in the fountain, Blaze, a lot more difficult, perhaps.
Yeah. I don't know. We got the Battle Fury Crystallis on the Ember. He's going to be able to at least blast the waves down with the help of a little bit of Tidebringer action, but they're just going to go bottom, where the backdoor protection is already broken, the glyph is now down, and it's going to be very easy to take the tower first and foremost. So yes, it becomes very difficult from this point forward to try to actually address Empire and they just they can't be beat in the fight.
Yep, Singh just going to keep throwing out those X torrents, look to chip away. Ramsey's going to X himself as he runs forward. It looks like he wants to blink in for a cleave. He'll do a little bit of damage there. Gets stunned up, needs to be careful. Ramses can't blink for now. It's been cancelled and dealt with. They're going to hit the torrent, the boat. That's going to catch out on 2. Brings down the Ursa as well as the Venge. Ursa going to be respawning soon. They really want this melee Rex cancel, just slowly chipping away at them. And how much can Kaipi do in return here? The Impale only going to catch from Poshka. Sing's blinking forward. Will he get the X? Doesn't look like he catches anyone. Unfortunately, the lack of vision on the high ground means they'll just get the one support, so Empire, they get a melee Rex and they only lose their supports there, so I think end result, not bad for them, but they did lose the Aegis as well. Like, it does feel like at some point there's like a timer on this Empire lineup.
I definitely agree with that. Now that they've failed to an extent, like it's not a complete failure, but it's definitely not what they wanted out of that push there. I feel like Kaipi were able to play around that really well. Long-range torrents and then Searing Chains just really annoying their opposition, and I think there were multiple times where Ramses was just like half a second away from actually initiating. Like there was a magic missile that hit on Sig, and I believe Ramses was about to just jump and charge and bring him down, but instead he gets hit by the Searing Chains, can't blink, can't close distance, just has to keep hitting buildings, which again, these heroes are not built for. So
they did a really good job just like they X Torrent, and then it was like Sleight of Fist. They never like stacked their spells, so Ursa's Blink Dagger was like permanently cancelled. If anything, like normally you think, oh, you want to stack your spells together to maximize damage, but then you've got to play around the cooldowns, which lets Ursa blink in. So it kind of worked out really nicely as a result.
Yeah, looks like Come With Me will unfortunately be unable to get out of this one. No Ghost Scepter, no chance of survival.
And this pickup for Ursa, the Abyssal Blade, actually does change the game a lot, because it makes it a lot harder for Ember Spirit to push out lanes and be as aggressive on the map, because he can't rely on that Remnant away. Even when he gets bashed, he can often survive, but the Abyssal Blade should be enough to just completely take out the Ember from full HP if you ever blink Abyssal in.
Aghanim Scepter up for the Batrider in case there's a chance the Venge will be next to a core target. Then obviously you're going to look for the double lasso, and that would be so good. But I don't know. Do you think maybe that going for Ags is appropriate here on the Ursa now? That you actually have to be threatened by the lasso, or you just make sure you're never next to the Venge?
I mean, to me, the lasso is one of those things which is... Oh, well, speaking of lasso, they're going to find Silhouette here at bottom lane, and there is no Venge. He's at the Radiant Ancients, but Silhouette very tanky, will turn, fight. He's actually got cheese as well, so they bring down Lion, and Moon 7 perhaps overestimating him and his buddy Lion's kill potential as Ramsey's on the chase. Nice torrent from Singh. We'll stop the chase as Bone 7 will get back to the safety of the Radiant base.
And now they're going to have to do the exact same thing, because if Ursa can just get the blink on a target, get in melee range of anybody, that hero is abyssal, and they will probably die before Test of Faith sends them home. Absolutely. So I feel like there's just so much need for them to control the Ursa perfectly here, and they're going to have to wait 30 seconds for it.
They're doing it pretty well so far. Centaur stun into Torrent, into Flame Break, and Flame Break, a lot of damage over time, going to continually disable that Blink Dagger. So Lenia Ramsey's going to get X-Torrent again just as his Blink was about to come up. They're trying to use the Lotus Orb to help him out. Now he's getting Shockwave. It's just constant chip, constant harass. They take out a range Rax, but they'd already taken the more important melee Rax, and it's going to be that next lane of Rax, which is kind of, to me, the big thing. If Empire get another lane of Rax, I think they're fine. They're in the clear, but if they somehow struggle over the next 10-15 minutes, like if they don't get that lane of Rax with the next Roshan, then you've got to start doubting and worrying. Hey, have Empire got this? Yeah, they've got the 3 most farmed heroes in the game by a huge margin, but these are not heroes that use farm amazingly well at the kind of 50-minute stage of the game.
I definitely agree with you. I think that the second lane of Rax is what's going to be deterministic for the win condition for Empire, and while people will look at it like, okay, top 3 net worth by a massive margin is Empire, kills doubling and more so in favor of the Dire, but I actually, like, because the game is more about the structural damage in the Ancient than anything else, it actually is not so clear-cut. They are either looking for Kaipi to make a mistake, where they push out of the base without vision and they get caught by, most likely, an Abyssal Blade, or they're going to have to force it in a kind of a tough situation. I mean, yes, they'll have Aegis.
Cancel!
Okay, never mind. Screw that. 80 seconds, Ember Spirit, GG. Like, what?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, you were saying it. They have to wait for a mistake, and that's exactly what ends up happening. Cancel, he picked up it's the right item choice. I'm thinking, like, Blink Dagger, this is great. It means he can blink in, Sleight of Fist, catch as many heroes as possible, and then instantly Remnant away before he gets Abyssal, but he just gets picked off solo farm. Yeah. He doesn't put himself in a position to use this Blink Dagger, which is this is the perfect pickup. You don't want a Boots of Travel here. We kind of talked about it. It doesn't do anything, but unfortunately...
And the Blink is his buyback gold as well. So actually, it might be still on cooldown.
Bone 7, what's he looking to do here? The swap is at the ready, though, so there's really nothing Bone 7 can do, it feels like. He's not even going to go for a Blink Lasso, knowing that it's just going to get instantly cancelled, and they're just going to keep trying to chip away at Salenia.
They enrage.
There we go, the insta-swap on the Bone 7. The Enrage blocking a lot of the damage, and Bone 7... he falls, no buyback, 30 seconds without Ember. This is that second lane of Rax, and they did without the Aegis. I was expecting them to have to wait for a Roshan, but all they had to wait for was that pick-off. Ember Spirit goes down. Glyph going to get used here, and this may not just be the mid lane of Rax. They could even go for the Mega Creeps to secure themselves the win. Singh trying to blink in. He can't X himself out of this one because of the Hex. Oh no, Singh now, he's without buyback. No Bat, no Kunkka, no Lion. They're just getting picked off one by one, and good game is going to be called. It looks one-sided, but I feel like this game, the gold graph, the net worths don't tell the full picture here, because if Kaipi had played a very polished high ground defense, we could have been in for a 60-70 minute game and a potential turnaround. Just a few pickoffs, a few sloppy mistakes, and Empire, they seal the deal.
Yeah, I was definitely on board with the idea that the next Roshan would be a very deciding of whether or not we're going 20 more minutes or 2 more minutes, but in this case, it doesn't require the buyout of the Blink Dagger, having no buyback, farming out without vision, just setting himself up for failure. It is going to be the Empire victory, which takes us to what should be a cataclysmic deciding Game 3.
Nice. Well, these teams delivering here on a Monday morning or Monday night over in Europe, and we're going to see what happens in Game 3. Team Empire or Kaipi, one of these teams will be eliminated. Their hopes, their dreams to go to Kiev, the wonderful Kiev. What a nice little town to go to. And also, more importantly, compete for $100,000 as well as a chance to kind of get your name out there and say, hey, Manila Major's coming up. We want an invite. If you're winning Star Ladder, I think you make a good case for that. But right now, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and see which team will advance, move forward in the European qualifier, and who's going to be sent back and going home. I'm God, join me as Blaze. You're watching the Beyond the Summit coverage of Star Ladder I-League Invitational. Don't go anywhere.
E-Gaming Bets. We accept bets on computer games online since 2011. Referral system for regular users and the first deposit bonus. Gaming devices store and the best choice of payment systems. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, Counter-Strike and StarCraft, World of Tanks and League of Legends. EGB.com. You know for sure who's going to win.
game 3, Empire taking on Kaipi. We've got game 3 decided here with Empire bouncing back, kicking game number 2 after a very strong showing in both game 1 and game 2 really from Empire. Continue that here in game number 3. Kaipi looking to knock them out and make their first big showing as a newly formed team. So both these teams, it's kind of their first showing into competitive Dota after the spring shuffle, and we're going to see what they have to show here in game number 3. I'm glad joining me once again is Blaze. Blaze, how are you feeling? What are your initial thoughts here on game number 3?
It's going to be pretty interesting how Kaipi tried to adjust their laning configuration. Obviously, they went with Bone 7 in the offlane previously, playing the Bat Rider. He's been known to play Digis Prophet, obviously, from his offlane role, but I'm sure Sing Sing is more than capable there as well. So it seems like their general mentality is trying to put their best foot forward, put their best player on their best hero, but I feel like default configurations probably are going to be the way to go with this one, and make sure they get out the laning phase with the net worths the way they need to be, and at least contention.
Yeah.
Right now we've got Scandal, OD on the field, and you just can't play around with that. You have to be on point. So I think Cancel gets something that can match up well against that, and kind of go from there.
I like you say, I think they need to go for a more standard configuration. As far as I know, it's Bone 7 playing the carry to Sing on the offlane. It seems like game 2 was kind of like let's mix things up. We've got a 1-0 lead, we're confident. Obviously their players all very individually skilled and can play good as well, but it did seem to kind of throw things a bit off. And this is going to go back to what we saw in game 1. Sing Sing was on the offlane back in game 1, so I would expect him to be playing the hero again, but we've also got some familiar picks. Like you mentioned, the Scandal OD, we've seen Beastmaster from Team Empire already as well. They did run it in a kind of peculiar safe lane fashion for Ramses, but a hero that just gives you such good vision advantage, great catch as well, and kind of synergizes quite nicely with the OD, a hero that can benefit a lot from having that attack speed aura.
So, I mean, they're going to have a little bit of momentum here. It's going to allow OD to kind of have a nice mix of items. I've actually got to see the OD Beastmaster played in the grand final of the BTS Americas, and they were able to actually build up the OD with items that he normally wouldn't buy, and still just because he didn't need the attack speed. He had treads, but he didn't need to go drums or moonshard. He actually went for things like Veil of Discord, Rod of Atos, like some really good high intelligence bang for your buck items that you still get the inner beast, you still build yourself up. I think they had a wisp with that lineup too, so it really, really enhanced the attack speed. So I love the idea of being able to just hit on a target with the Primal Roar guaranteeing a lot of free damage, and then you can just decimate the rest of the team with all the int you built up. So overall, I think there's some high synergy between these two, and while OD has a really long ulti, Beastmaster will always be ready to fight. We're going to see Kaipi actually go back for the Enigma again. It seems like the most interesting thing about Mad's drafting is how he's perfectly willing to put risky picks in the early stage. I mean, we had a first pick Bat Rider in the previous game, and now we have Enigma in phase 1.
And often when you see a phase 1 Enigma, it's because you see something like an IO on the other team, and you know, okay, they're not going to really pressure our lanes because they've got this IO, and Enigma matches up really well against the IO, against playing into the relocate. So as far as Empire's concerned, they haven't gone that greedy with these opening 2 picks. Beastmaster just can be your standard offlaner. OD, a mid hero that doesn't really have too many terrible matchups for himself. So it is, like you say, a fairly greedy pick, but I think it very much does show, looking at this series as a whole, Kaipi really emphasized having junglers in general. Like they had the Chen in game 2, the Enigma in game 1, so they really want to try and maximize their farm in the jungle, but they have to be careful not to fall behind early. They ban out the Brood, the Bounty, some of those pesky heroes to contest the jungle, but I'd be just as worried about their lanes being contested with the jungle Enigma than the Enigma's jungle itself.
Yeah, I mean, you can do so much to threaten the lanes early on here, and it means that Kaipi's safe laner can't be a very greedy one. I mean, like, with the Fury, and you look at heroes like Spectre, but you have to go for something that's very self-sufficient. No, okay.
Oh.
Contest lanes, please, Empire. Like, this seems like just opening, a walkover in terms of the early game.
And not even just the early game. If you have a good early game, you transition into a mid game where you've got Beastmaster plus Venjora, you push fast, you take Roche fast, you put an Aegis on OD. That's probably one of the best heroes to have an Aegis on in the mid game. You have like a Blink, Drums, Treads, and an Aegis to back you up. You can go blinking into all kinds of situations. This, to me, looks very scary. The Spectre, like you say,
Yeah, and I mean, this is very clearly put out in the first 3 picks. Like, if you last pick a Spectre, you get a support that can buy space and babysit really well, and Empire haven't drafted too much push, too much early game, then yeah, I think you can find a way to make Spectre and it will work on the same team, even though the economy says differently. But first 3 picks against already 2 push-oriented heroes, you know you're in for it. Zeus is going to be able to do a lot in the early game. It looks like it's just going to be a safe lane OD. That's all the carry they need. They're going to mid the Zeus, and
great.
then they'll just push towers down.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, Beastmaster Venge turns like all your heroes into pseudo right-click carries, and at least to some extent, maybe Zeus less so, but Zeus always wants to be casting spells. But like your Beastmaster, your Venge will do like some right-click damage here or there. You can break buildings in siege, even though you don't have any single sieging hero because you've got the Beastmaster Venge. You're going to have Necro books, so you've got the summons there in the front lines. And I think the Zeus, just as a hero, like, actually deals with Enigma nature. Like, it takes out the summons really easily because of the Arc Lightning. It's percent-based damage to kind of just chip away constantly at the Spectres. So I think the Zeus pick is fantastic here, and it was just a matter of fitting it in with the lanes, and you do that by putting OD safe lane. So very strong draft from Team Empire. I'm definitely like favoring them as things currently stand. I'm not sure what Kaipi can really suddenly throw in there to change things. You're looking at like a mid laner and just your standard laning support. So they're going to go for AoE, they're going to go for team fight, and they get Queen of Pain. This also gives them some ability to try and defend those towers. What do you make of the Queen of Pain? Was it the pick?
I mean, it definitely gives them the opportunity to fight early a little bit. I mean, Nature's Prophet, Queen of Pain, engaging in almost every fight, at least being able to TP to the tower and blink, and it means that you can definitely come to terms with whatever Empire bring to bear against you, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of potential for Empire to just push in between the cooldowns. In between Haunt and Sonic Wave, there's not much to be afraid of as long as you're keeping distance from the black hole. So there are going to be multiple times this game where Spectre and Queen of Pain do not have their ultimates available, and Empire, even if they lost a fight, they can respawn and take Roshan or something on the back of that. So I really do feel like there's some real threat, nevertheless. And I think that their last pick has to be fully turtle-oriented. The Witch Doctor is a great hero to defend high ground, just could lane against the Beastmaster really well with the cask, and then Death Ward is something that you kind of have to be afraid of. Like, this multi-channeled ability in Kaipi's Game 1 was able to do some good work for them, but I don't know. It feels like now they're just going to be under so much pressure.
And this is a hero. Doom is one of those run at you with Scorched Earth and Infernal Blade you, and you're not going to farm. You're not going to have a fun time. This is also a kind of 4th-position hero that can transition into a core/semi-carry as well. So it kind of also shores up their mid to late game a bit, but without having a weak early game. Like this new Doom, where we're seeing the Infernal Blade skilled up very early on nowadays, and just go for that fast phase boots drum build or Trinkle's drums just to apply pressure, is going to make it very difficult for the Spectre this game. So I really worried for the early game of Kaipi just collapsing here.
Yeah, I'm curious how if they're going to go for the 4-position Doom over the 4-position Zeus. I would favor that, but it really comes down to what they're...
We talked about the... Oh, you mean like as in Doom played as like a mid or something? And the Zeus
like,
as a support?
Well, it would have to be a mix of the lanes. It would be like a safe lane core Doom or something like that. But I think if the Doom support's better, it's just... Again, I've been casted all these other regions, and they play the Doom very differently than the recent trend from Dota Pit and all this other stuff in Europe.
Well, Miposhka picks it up, so he's normally that. He's been playing the Earth Spirit for Team Empire so far, so likely that kind of...
I like that.
4th-position roaming / I mean, we say like roaming, he may end up just spending a lot of time in the offlane because they can contest the Spectre's lane. You look at the Borslow with an Infernal Blade and Scorched Earth, like that's not an easy lane for Spectre to get any farm in. There is the worry that, I mean, Dazzle is a good support to have against that. You've got low base armor on the Doom himself, and Dazzle can help sustain the lane as well as kind of counterplay some of the aggression.
Alright, so quick little pause, but we're going to be getting underway with what I think will be a fast and furious game. This is going to be heavy confrontations, and it really comes down to how Kaipi execute the first several engagements, and then after ultimates come out, the next 3. Like, that's really what it comes down to in my mind.
Yeah, and it feels like there's steps for Kaipi just to stay in this game. Like, 1, you can't get completely destroyed in the lanes. 2, and even if you don't get destroyed in the lanes, you have to make sure, like, your first couple engagements with the Haunt, with your big team fight, with, like, the Quap ultimate, the Nature's Prophet ulti TP, and those are successful fights. Empire as a whole have much more room for error with their draft. It's much easier to execute what they're doing in general.
Alright, so Scandal going out to the mid lane, and all he's got is the Clarity and the Shared Tango. This guy's going to be rushing a very fast bottle here. Do you think there's any chance for Sing Sing to snipe it?
That'd be great. It's probably the one hero that sniping their courier hurts the most. I can't really think of anything worse than a Zeus losing their courier, because, like you say, this is the build. Like, there's no real... Every time I see like a Zeus on my team in a pub get a null talisman, I just like die a little inside. I'm like, what is this null? What are you right-clicking as a Zeus? 90% of your last hits is Arc Lightning, let's be honest here. Or at least like 80%, so... I don't think so. Sing Sing's already got Nature's Call. If anyone's going to courier snipe, it's more likely the Dazzle. I think there's like plays Dazzle can make where there's like a cool little spot you can hide behind the tier 1 tower from the bottom lane. Like after the runes are picked up, you can kind of hide yourself there. So if anyone does it, it's Dazzle. is my prediction.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree with that. We actually have a pretty aggressive movement towards the bottom rune spawn, so it is going to be Cancel to take the top bounty rune and Scandal to take the bottom one, getting that bottle out super fast. And from
Dazzle
there,
has a smoke. Like when I see a Dazzle with a smoke, I'm like, is that to me is like a courier sniping item?
Yeah.
I don't know why. What is he ganking? Unless he's just preemptively buying it and waiting for Enigma to hit level 6. But I mean, the bottle's already coming out, so he's not going to be there in time.
If he's not sniping, the only reason is just to keep the cooldown rolling. It's just to say we want some more smokes this game, and it's worth the 50 gold investment in a lot of cases.
Yeah, that's actually good, like you say. 50 gold investment, it's cheaper than it used to be, why not? So what's Doom? If he finds a Satyr, you're just like, you're in business. You've won your lane. He won't find one immediately. There's a Hellbear, which he's going to grab anyways, and we'll go to lane. It's a bit of an extra attack speed, which is always nice for actually trading hits in this lane. And that's something which, come with me, could be in some trouble. He's got the heal here, maybe forced to use it. If they hit the clap here, it may even be a kill here.
And they're going to get a new boar, so he's going to have to go for the long walk around. Still going to lose a few
Boar
hits.
gets one right click off. Miposhka's got boots. He may actually be able to break the gap here. Another boar hit. I think they may actually get this kill. He needs to start healing himself. He needs to start tangoing. Clap coming in soon.
Oh, you know what he needed to do? Iron Branch the choke point. If he had dropped a branch down, put a tree in that choke point, he would not have taken all that damage. But in the end, he still gets under tower. The mana exhausted from Miposhka.
Not too bad. Mid lane, there was a lot of trading hits from Cancel as well as Zeus. I believe Cancel must have popped his salve because I saw him like half HP or lower, and he's bringing out a salve and a Clarity. Jeez, Cancel. Really committing early onto the regen, and that's one of the nice things about the Zeus. Well, he salves himself as well, but with the early bottle and bottle crow, it means he's not like wasting as much money on consumables in this lane.
Yeah.
But
and
Queen of Pain
be able to get road control. I
Yeah.
think this team is much better at rotating early for those.
Gosh, Miposhka getting very low down bottom. The Dazzle punishing him. Going for that boots first is always nice for the movement speed, but hey, you're seeing on 0 armor. And against a hero like Dazzle, who can do a decent amount of physical damage, already has points in the poison touch. He's going to go for it. Miposhka. This may actually be a kill. He needs one more. Scorched Earth is there with the dagger. I think they're going to get it. No, it's not enough. Poison touch won't tick him over, and they're going to get the counter kill. Beastmaster brings down Dazzle. Come with me. Thought he had it. But Doom, I think he just got the mana for the Scorched Earth. I think that's why he went in for the kill thing. He didn't have the mana for it. And
exactly. The Tango had just chewed on just enough to give him the HP, and then the mana had just come out for the score. So it was extremely close for that kill to go the other way.
Bone 7 taking a little harassed by Afterlife, but the TP from Dazzle, it will be enough to force Beastmaster back. All but Venom pickup. That's very much signs that they want to go aggressive. They want to contest this lane and want to bully as much as possible. I'd imagine Doom may be just looking to TP on back down here. Oh no, he's going to TP mid to refill Zeus's bottle, but that's a easy transition from, oh, TP mid, refill your bottle, and you just go straight back towards that bottom lane. Again, he'd love to find a Satyr, which it doesn't look like there's any around or about, so he's going to be...
Or Mud Golem. That'd be
yes,
good too.
Mud Golems are also fantastic, but the Hellbear is like a so-so. It's not like the worst you can get. It's not as bad. Like, to me, Centaurs is probably one of the worst you can find. Dark Trolls are pretty bad as well.
Well, if you're taking it from your enemy, it might be not too bad.
Yeah. Well, he's going to find a center, yeah, like you say. He takes it from his enemy. He's going to be forced to pop the Scorched Earth to try and heal himself up with the Queen of Pain rotation. I believe they should be able to get this kill here. Miposhka, another screen going to be coming soon. And Miposhka trying to find a way he can deny himself, but 2 seconds, another blink, which won't even be needed. But, oh, hello, Dazzle. Loses his life to Beastmaster solo. Afterlife is just playing sensationally in this bottom lane. Unfortunately, he doesn't have an escape plan as Bone 7 manages to chase him down with the dagger. 2 points in that, and then the Desolate hit to finish him off.
Yeah. So obviously, like you said, the item build is perfect for Beastmaster to get very involved in this lane. I mean, even going from the Mango along with the Stout Shield. Mango Stout Shield is all about just sustained hit trading. You're not going to go for the burst mana on a Beastmaster until you're level 6. So there's no reason to rush the Mango unless you're really relying on that continuous HP regen. So Orb of Venom, Stout Shield, Mango, he's all about just getting right up in there and putting the pressure out. And now once again, he has to
finding kills, but like looking just at the raw CS, there's a lot of just general farm going the way of Kaipi here, so I don't feel like they're actually too worried about this early game. Spectre has not really been shut down until now. He's got a potential kill coming his way. He hits the Centaur stun, and Bone 7 needs an escape plan. He's got it in the form of the Spectral Dagger over the trees, and that will mean the chase will end. He's the top farmer so far, but I'm not sure if that will remain the case. Given,
and then Zeus gets baited into the rune. They actually have the Observer Ward ready, and
going down to Dazzle.
Walks right into it.
Not sure how well Bone 7 can sustain himself in this lane and maintain his top farm, but he's got a salve from Come With Me, so he actually doesn't have to go back to base. He's just out of mana here, unfortunately.
Alright, so it's definitely going to require more dedication from Come With Me to kind of sit this lane and keep it alive. In the meantime, Doom, he's got his Tranquil Boots, I would presume, coming out very, very shortly, and he's just looking for a different creep. He ends up eating the same thing, it looks like the Centaur, but all the same, he's still keeping that aggressive stance bottom.
Yep. So he's going to swing back towards mid lane a bit, but this early game looking, for the most part, pretty good for Kaipi. 4 heroes farming, getting CS well. They've evened things up on kills and gotten some, like an important kill on that on the Zeus at the bottom ring there. Zeus just about to hit level 5. Queen of Pain has level 6 already, and this is a Sonic Wave potential kill here. Enigma's smoking pre-level 6. Venge is in position, but I don't think they can save him here. Sonic Wave is going to be there. Is the damage enough? They're going to get the kill back on cancel though, so they even things up 1 for 1. Sing Sing's TP'd in, but doesn't find a second kill out of it, so ultimately maybe not exactly a worthwhile TP from Sing Sing. But the idea was right.
Yeah, in the end, like they see that confrontation, you just have to make a quick response. You really can't even hesitate to assess it. But in the end, it's great that Empire were at least able to be there to respond to get the counter kill on the Queen of Pain. But I would say overall, the big thing that's been hurting the most is Scandal's experience. The fact is, he didn't get part of that kill, and he's also been denied 12 times by the Queen of Pain. Scandal is not even close to level 6, while we do see Cancel already at level 7.
And there's so many things that can kill him now. Not yet. Level 7 on Cancel. Bone 7's hit level 6. He's got Haunt coming to play. Raw coming out bottom lane. Dazzle gets the heal off. Has a Grave to follow as well. Afterlife, he didn't do the math. He's going to go down. Could not kill Dazzle before the heal Grave. And Bone 7 going to get a kill out of this one. Actually, Dazzle with the Poison Touch getting the kill. Zeus has rotated in, but again, we talked about this is a level 5 Zeus. You've got an Arcane Rune, well, you've only got limited spells and damage output. I don't really see them killing Bone 7 here. Haunt going to come into play. It looks like top lane's where they want to go. Stellinia, he's already used the Astral, and that's why Sing Sing made the call to come top, and Bone 7 with the Enigma's help as well gets this kill. Everything suddenly coming together for the team of Kaipi.
Yeah, I gotta say, it mostly comes down to how well Bone 7 has been able to execute in the laning phase. The fact that he's 1-0 and 2 as a Spectre,
and he
as
CS
well as topping
so
out
well
CS.
against the Beastmaster. I mean, so much of that goes back to the Dazzle and what Dazzle did in the lane.
Come With Me did so well in Game 1 and Game 3 for this these laning phases, and he's set up Bone 7 for success. This is the configuration that works. Getting Come With Me, supporting Bone 7 has dominated the safe lane for Kaipi.
And it kind of
well.
I feel like I was almost like misled by like, oh, Dazzle died. Like he gave up First Blood, I believe, and then he died a couple times in lane, but it was very much like he was tanking the spells. Like it was Doom using Scorched Earth, Infernal Blade, chewing through his mana pool to kill the Dazzle, and at no point was Spectre getting harassed or really taking any damage from those spells. So it really did kind of work in their favor, and they're not done. They've got a Black Hole on Enigma up here. They're going to dagger in from the trees here. Bone 7 gets stunned up. Man needs to get in a bit closer. I'm not sure if he's going to get close enough to the Black Hole. He loses his mana from the OD. Sanity's a clip.
Come on, Zeus ulti!
Uh-oh. Mana. He's keeping home. He's keeping home. Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say, if they missed that kill, I don't even know. Maybe that would be a complete waste of the Sans Eclipse, and in the end, they only get the Furion for it.
Well, TPing bottom can Come With Me. Just looking to repel the Beastmaster a little bit. He has got Iron Talon. He's about to hit level 7, so we'll see that Max Call the Wild in just a second. Cancel's next Sonic Wave is now available, so I can imagine Queen of Pain looking to find another kill somewhere where possible.
Alright, Alright, so without the Sanities, they have to rely pretty much entirely on the Roar to make things happen. So they're moving to the right place. Bottom lane is definitely where they need to take a fight. But if you just open on the Dazzle, is that enough?
Well, I feel like they can't. They want to get the Spectre kill, but it's a matter of how do you get the Spectre kill. Like if you have to commit the Roar to Dazzle, you're probably not killing the Spectre. And Dazzle scouts out the smoke gang. Come with me, he's going to die here, but he's done his job. He's kept Bone 7 alive. Mad's TP'd in, has a black hole, but he's going to take the Roar. This is maybe not the best fight for Kaipi as a result. Mad, Sonic Wave is there, don't get a chance to black hole, but that extreme Sonic Wave from Cancel. He annihilates the side of Team Empire, gets himself and his team 4 kills in return. 2 of them going the way of Queen of Pain, 1 going to the Prophet, 1 going to the Bone 7 Spectre, and oh, even better, Urn Charges. 4 Urn Charges all of a sudden for Bone 7. He can sustain himself in lane, he can use these to kind of transition for his next couple of ganks. Oh boy, was that a great TP rotation. Cancel coming up big there.
As they walk through the valley, the Shadow of Death, getting hit by just such a massive Sonic Wave that even killed the Courier. Like, their eardrums are still ringing, but we're going to see Mipushka try to respond. He's got the Doom, but, I mean, it feels so forced right now. Empire getting absolutely destroyed in the 2 most critical parts of the game, the laning phase, and now this point where all the ultimates are online. 2 massive Sonic Waves coming out from Cancel. One of them only netting 1 kill but doing a lot of damage. This one doing so much more.
Yeah, and they've just been so good with the rotations. Like, there's no hero on the Empire side that's really looked to be doing well. Like, for a short while, it's like, okay, Odie's free farming the safe lane, and then you've got a Spectre who haunts up there, ganks the lane, takes the tower, really puts pressure onto the Dire jungle by taking that top tier 1 Dire tower, and now you've got this lineup which has the global presence of Spectre as well as Nature's Prophet. You've got Queen of Pain who's very mobile, and makes it very hard for Empire to kind of get their farm. Heroes like OD have to always be worried about ganks, and speaking of ganks, seeing he TP's in to the top lane, looks like he may be looking for this kill, loses vision, gets him actually with the ultimate in the end. Spectre could go for a haunt soon, maybe? No, 20 seconds, it's still a bit too far away. And Cancel with a DD TP'd up there, but does not have Sonic Wave as well, so perhaps not the time to fight.
Alright, so at this point in time, we're going to be seeing the mechanism coming out in 500 gold for Mad, and at that point, it's really, really difficult for Empire to find kills unless they're dooming the Enigma, unless they're killing him in a roar, something to try to bring him down before he gets his abilities out, because that mechanism, combined with the Dazzle's strength of healing and graving, it just allows these heroes to survive for so long. It allows the Queen of Pain to go crazy aggressive, and this Queen of Pain is going to snowball. She's going to go for the Orchid, she's going to have a very fast level 11, and even the OD can't consider himself safe.
And we talked a lot about Kaipi's lineup being a bit on the greedy side, but when you win the early game, things are looking incredibly amazing because of that. It's not only that they got away with their greed, but it's that they won the lanes. They're putting pressure on the Empire, who don't exactly want to be playing from behind here. They're going to put them in a position where they've got to make a lot happen in the next 5 minutes of the game. They're going to go right onto the aggressive to try and smoke up, find some pickoffs, and it's got to come through kills. They can't try and farm their way back in this game. They've got to try and find pickoffs, use Doom, use the kind of global presence of the Zeus ultimate as well as the Beastmaster Roar to find those pickoffs.
I feel a big problem for Empire right now is just like how Mipushka and Afterlife have just made these little mistakes in their exchanges with the Dazzle. Like every single time they seem to be coming up just a little bit short in terms of their damage output. And obviously the Dazzle in the first exchange made that mistake, but the wasted Roar down bottom, Mipushka just not really contributing nearly as much. And honestly, just getting shafted by the spawns. The neutral creeps have not been favoring the Doom at all.
Hello. They found the OD. Prophet TP's up there, summons streams. They're helping tank the tower as well. There's a black hole if they need it, but they sure as hell don't. The Radiant Observer Ward vision on this Dire jungle. This all goes back to losing that top tier 1 tower. Kaipi have completely taken over this top side of the map as a result, making it impossible for OD to farm, and also
this Roche
entirely possible for Kaipi to get vision up. And
I don't even know if it's Roche, dude. Like, the OD will come in as quick as he can, but
level 1
Kaipi
wave.
definitely have the wherewithal to respond.
It's going to be a very slow Roche. Necro 1, level 1 wave, not an easy one. And here comes Kaipi. This could just be a disaster. This could be almost the end for Empire. Hits the Necro box, it takes a bit of damage. May want to earn himself back up. He gets healed up first. May need a Grave Bone 7. Kept alive a little bit longer, needs to get away from this Scorch Earth. The Sonic Wave again! Cancel on point, he blinks in with a scream. Needs to be a little bit careful, that blink's not coming up for a little bit longer, and Cancel actually going to pay the price as a result, and they don't get the kill on the Doom. That Doom onto Enigma, preventing the mech, obviously preventing the black hole, but I feel more importantly than preventing the black hole was preventing the mech there, because without mech, Queen of Pain and Nature's Prophet go down. The Spectre couldn't heal himself up as quickly to keep in fighting shape.
Not over yet.
Selenia, Ramses getting aggressive here. He's got the Sandy's Eclipse. He wants to fight around it, but without Doom, they're going to be very respectful towards that Enigma Black Hole. Spectre goes down, but he's got a buyback. Is he going to go for it? Doesn't look like it. Not without a haunt. The Black Hole. Not the result they were hoping for. Neutral Creep gets the kill on the OD. Now the mech comes into play. And when your mech basically got used after the fight just to solo heal yourself when it doesn't even save your life. That is not the outcome Kaipi were hoping for. Empire just kind of toyed them around really well.
Yeah, they did get the bounce around on the Eidolon, so the Shadow Wave got the heal bomb that hit the OD, but unfortunately the Hellbear Smasher was able to be the one that finished the job. So yeah, the Black Hole completely wasted. The mechanism not a part of that fight because of a really well-used Doom from Miposhka. So while the Lighting Doom did not contribute nearly as much as we were hoping, he is now doing work with his ultimate. Still, Spectre got a kill out of that in the end. She actually threw a dagger into the pit, kills off the Doom, and forces Empire away from the pit a little bit. But they did, of course, see the Black Hole. They are going to be looking at this Roshan, and they're going to be feeling a lot more confident about it while the Haunt is still on cooldown.
Still a bit of a risky move. I don't feel like they've got all the items they could hope for, but Dazzle runs in somewhat alone, and importantly for Empire is they have the vision advantage still. At least to the extent they've got the Hawk, they've got summons that can be sent out to scout, and they will finally secure themselves Roshan. But Cancel, top lane's actually pressuring a tier 3 tower here. Gets off just 400-500 damage onto that, as well as a lot of extra farm. It's really pressure all over the map coming from Kaipi, except towards Roshan, which they just didn't feel like they were in fighting shape for. Cancel with that farm at top lane, getting very close to that Orchid completion.
Does feel like Empire were pretty dependent on this Roshan. I wouldn't say, like, we're going to be seeing the same Roche situation that we saw in game number 1, where they look for 4 nearly uncontested Roches because they absolutely need it to engage in any fights. Empire do have a lot of fight potential with a Doom on the right target, but I still feel like this is the momentum shift they needed, because the first half of this game has not gone anywhere near what was planned in the draft.
And the Orchid makes a big difference, because in my mind, like, a Doom has to walk in to get off that ultimate, and it's very likely he's going to be one of the prime Orchid candidates at the start of a fight. If Cancel can find him, he's going to look to blow up the Doom, prevent that ultimate coming off. If not the Doom, it's someone like the Beastmaster. One of those big ultimates is ideally getting taken out of the fight by Kaipi through this Orchid. And there's... Up until now, Kaipi have not had the best initiation. If the Doom's trying to run in to get off a Doom, what do you have to stop it? You have a Malefice, and that's really it. So it's been very easy for Doom to get off that ultimate on key targets, but that changes with the Orchid.
I feel a little bit differently about it, actually. I obviously, the Doom and the Roar are huge cooldowns that you want to try to at least delay, if not prevent, but I also see a lot of potential in them being able to actually burst down heroes like Zeus and OD during that. And I feel like Orchid is that much more valuable if you can use it to kill a hero without them getting a single spell out and contributing anything to the fight. So if there's an opportunity, I still think he'll jump on Ramses or on to Scandal, and it's going to be on Empire to space themselves out to prevent.
Well, see, Cancel finish that Orchid in a couple hundred gold now, and leaves the space for Bone 7. The smoke into the Radiant Jungle, it's close to the Enigma, doesn't immediately find him, and Matt's going a little bit further away. They pop the drum and everything, but doesn't look like they'll quite get close enough. Mad gets away. Oh no. Smoke movement unsuccessful, and right now Team Kaipi have going to be feeling pretty good about themselves with that. They immediately TP Sing to the top lane to start pressuring what is a completely exposed tier 3 tower very early on in the game, which, considering we're going to be seeing an Ag Scepter up very early on Sing's Nature's Prophet, that's a big concern that the split push, once it comes into play, or already has come into play.
Yeah, and I don't think that Hag's Prophet was a consideration for Empire's draft. They really didn't build themselves up to deal with that kind of threat, because it doesn't make sense logically to when you're worried about the Spectre and the Enigma getting large item progression and being able to take it mid to late game. You're not really considering the Prophet getting 4,200 gold in the mix of that. So they don't really have a great answer to it. Arc Lightning is pretty much the best they have, and it might really reshape how they have to position themselves on the map.
Zeus is going to be the one in charge of the high ground defense for now. He's sent home. He's going to be spamming out that arc lane. So pretty good at dealing with the tree and some just general pushes. But that means with Zeus top, they're going to try to fight around this mid lane. They've used the Haunt. Bone 7 goes in, bounces from one illusion to the next. He then bounces himself out of there as Sing goes down. He TP'd himself in. Perhaps a bit of miscommunication. Now Bone 7 roared up. Going to get mana burn very low here. The grave is there. Bone 7, no chance to really TP away. An OD, one or two more right clicks should secure the kill. It's Empire pushing things back.
They still have the Doom too.
In their favor, and with a Nature's Prophet buyback, I think Empire may reconsider chasing, but I think they're still in a very good position to retreat and not find themselves giving up any kills. It's actually seeing TPing towards the top lane after buying back, and ultimately a buyback that he's probably regretting at this point.
Yeah, I would say so. There's not nearly as much value out of it. Zeus is immediately happy to walk back.
Caught by the swap, doomed up, taken out, and
oh no,
damage not done now. They've still got the Aegis, as you highlighted, and they've now got to catch with the swap. They're going to catch out. Whoa! That Dazzle Shadow Wave Bomb. Doom, you haven't got much armor. And it's evident there more than ever. As he gets taken out. Zeus actually dying in the top lane. He was the one defending against the Nature's Prophet, and Queen of Pain swoops in, takes him out. He didn't have to commit the Sonic Wave. It was just the Orchid, and makes things look a little bit better right now for Kaipi as far as where things stand. But Empire have got... When we talked about how important that Roshan was to them and how it was such a, like, that was their big objective, they've gotten a lot done with this Aegis.
Most certainly, but obviously losing the top lane and the Doom just accidentally like that, it does kind of turn against them a little bit, where it was very clear-cut an Empire victory. Now it's a bit of sour grapes, but we'll see. Some items come out nevertheless. Atos up for Ramses, and actually going to be seeing that pipe progression again for Mad.
The Aegis is about to expire, so... Need to be a little bit careful here. We'll be regenning soon, but could always see that jump in, cancel out the regen, kill him off, but no one in position to do so. Cancel smoked up, and Kaipi were preemptively smoked even before the Aegis expired, very much to play around this timing. They want to fight, they want to find a pick off, and Odie is pushing up this top lane. He may be on the receiving end of this gank. They show the Spectre bottom, they show the Nature's Prophet in the mid lane. Will they catch the OD? I say that as there's also a counter gank going towards the Spectre at bottom lane. Spectre, is he going to get in top lane? He did not get the roar off on bottom, and it looks like, yeah, they will get the kill on Stalenia. Yep, they bring him down. Spectre, where did he go? He's going to be in the middle of a black hole that's killing off the Doom. 3 dead, nothing in return. Beastmaster was just...
Did they take racks off this?
I believe so. No buybacks on anyone but Doom.
Oh my gosh, I mean...
That was so close. Beastmaster was like a second late to get the roar on Spectre. If he roared Spectre, I think he just solo kills Spectre with Necro 3.
Adventure was there too, so you get the Magic Missile Wave of Terror. That is guaranteed to kill. No Spectre in the fight, no Haunt in the fight.
He wasn't even haunting to avoid the gank. He was haunting to go top to get the kill, so it was very much a bit of like bad luck from Team Empire, although perhaps you could kind of talk about the OD going out of position with as many heroes missing on the map, but as far as the play at bottom lane, that was exactly the right thing to do for Team Empire.
What is this movement here? Like Bone 7 and Come With Me circling 3 times over. Now the Doom finally comes out onto Cancel, and they're just going to try to back off on that.
It's not going to be Rax, it's going to be just a tier 3 tower for now. The chase is on, doesn't look like they'll catch Cancel. He's hugging the tree lines, trying to use the Fog of War as effectively as possible. Mad Mech Complete almost has a pipe as well. Raintrack surviving on 9 HP. Not too big a deal. Gives him a nice chunk of gold at this stage of the game for Kaipi, but they can come back for it later. The Eidolon's actually going in. Can they get it? 1 on 2 right clicks, they do! Enigma! The hero Eidolons will die for the greater good as they bring down the first racks of the game here. 21 minutes, 50 seconds in.
Yeah, and they're walking away with an Observer Ward up there, so Sing can do even more work with the Rat now that he's got the Aghanims up and he's got the vision, so that he knows if it's safe to make that move. And anytime Empire show out on mid or bottom lane, Sing's going to be immediately top and know exactly what he's up against.
I think at this stage of the game, we talked about Empire having a lot of room for error. Now we're at the point where there isn't much room for error. You lose a fight, you will lose a lane of racks. And if you make a small mistake, the global presence of heroes like Spectre, Nature's Prophet will punish them really hard. So you have to be very careful about how you play things now that you're playing from behind. When you're ahead, you can make errors and just kind of play. Things are very open as far as how you want to play things out. But right now, you've got to play a flawless game if you're Team Empire.
And we still have a couple good offensive awards from Empire. They've got the Hawk out as well, so they can still play really well on the Radiant side of the map. Interestingly enough, it's actually advantageous for Kaipi to play on the Dire side and Empire to play on the Radiant side right now in terms of positioning on the map. But we do see Cancel essentially just waiting for his opportunity. Lightning Bolt doesn't see it, it does, but maybe they won't expect the Queen of Pain blinking in with the Orchid. They won't have to because...
And this is not just the Queen of Pain, there's always that Spectre Haunt. But perhaps not sure how many heroes are there, and there's importantly a Vengeful Spirit with the swap to save him behind.
He's gonna get gone on, but I think Venge will die.
Well, if you time the Horn, it may be after the swap, and we could still see the kill. We'll see how things kind of play out there. Bone 7 in position. It looks like he just picked up an ultimate orb, so we'll be going for the full Manta, not going to go for any kind of Radiance build here.
It's interesting, like, Cancel spent so much time and effort getting here, and it feels like that's the opportunity he was looking for making that move, but just the lack of information.
He's scared, you know. It's the Beastmaster missing it. Beastmaster, like, showing in bottom lane, I think he goes for it, but when Beastmaster's missing from the map, you've got to play somewhat scared. They now do see him. Tree into the bottom lane, pop out, see the Beastmaster, see the Doom, and that's the information Kaipi really need this game, is where is the Beastmaster? He's the one with the highest kill potential on the side of Empire right now.
Yeah, and of course Roche going to be respawning in a minute and a half. So far Empire doing really well at covering any kind of ward coverage coming in from the Radiant side, as they do have the Lightning Bolt action. They could also pick up a gem on the Beastmaster if they really wanted to prioritize it, but right now there is no ward vision across the entire map for Kaipi. They really need to make sure that they get some wards down with their next smoke or next rotation, because this next Roche could give Empire again the foothold they need to stay in this game.
It's really been a series of Roches. I mean, going back to both Game 1 and Game 2, I feel like Empire took like something like 5 Roches, at least like 4 Roches in Game 1. Game 2 again, really taking advantage of being on that dire side. And it's Kaipi who preferred to be on the Radiant side when they've had the choice, but I've seen game after game Empire drafting around to some extent the Roshan. And right now, Horn coming in mid lane. Delenia could be in some trouble here. They're going to commit the Sonic Wave for this one as well, and keeping in is the Nature's Prophet. Now the Zeus ultimate goes flying up, but the Mech, the Pipe are both there, and this is going to block a lot of this damage. The Roar comes out on Man as well as the Doom. That's a big commitment just for one hero. They should be able to get this kill. He gets graved up for now. That won't keep him alive for good, I can only imagine. Sing Sing on the Nature's Prophet. King R wants him. We'll get him though. Maybe a death that could have been avoided despite how low he was. The blocks onto the Vengeful Spirit could see a return kill coming out from Bone 7 on the backlines. It's Queen of Pain taking out Beastmaster, and despite Sing going down, still a very convincing win, and the Enigma surviving.
He got healed back to back over and over. Shadow Wave, they actually got him away from the Necronomicon creeps, and they just keep on healing him. He drops down to double-digit HP from the Doom, but he survives through it all, and he can use the Soul Ring to continue his offensive.
And we'll be a little bit limited on mana for a full Black Hole. We'll have to see what he decides to prioritize. I almost feel like he may just prioritize the Pipe and the Mech because of the fact that you can't necessarily rely on the Black Hole, but he's been Arcane's booted back up. His mana pool's starting to rebuild itself, and they're chipping away this melee racks, but decide it's not the time or place to commit to it, and they will back off, take their spoils, and leave. Bone 7 getting a little bit more farmed as a result. Manta style 700 gold. Not the most farmed Spectre, but a Spectre very much in fighting shape. He can offer a lot to this team, even if he isn't that most farmed carry in the game status.
What do you think about the Roche potential at the end of that exchange for Kaipi? Obviously, they don't have a medallion, they were down a hero, but it was just the Venge buyback that they forced out from their base play, and maybe they could have gotten something more if they had gone for the pit.
It's definitely possible, but I think we're starting to get to that stage of the game where like just having like your summons and your Dazzle Heal to sustain it isn't quite enough, like to bring it down in a very timely fashion.
Yeah, Roche is a little bit tankier with the new patch, the bug fix too.
Yes, that too, so I think it's a lot harder for them because they don't have minus armor and they don't have good physical damage. It's like the summons are pretty good, but not amazing.
Okay.
And very much, it felt like they just kind of tunnel visioned on the top lane. Like, okay, we might be able to get a melee Rex and get a buyback, or get a buyback or two, which they did get the one buyback. So we'll see what the next move's going to be. Kaipi in a very comfortable position, I feel, just because of like the Nature's Prophet ability to keep these lanes pushed out and kind of control the tempo of the game.
Yeah. And I mean, is there any item that can really make that adjustment? I mean, sure, you've got Wild Axes, you got Arc Lightning, the Veil will help deal with that a little bit, but in general, like you don't have your classic cores that could just go for a Maelstrom, a Mjolnir, or a Battle Fury and push this out.
It's really only Zeus, and the problem with Zeus being the one to defend and push out the lane is he's one of the most vulnerable hero to games. So you can't just rely on your Zeus to solely push out top lane when there's a Spectre Horn, a Nature's Prophet TP, a Quap with an Orchid. I think this Zeus is always going to be like saying, hey guys, I want to push out top lane, but I'm probably going to die doing so.
I mean, to his credit, he's avoided it. The
Yeah.
Venge has been right behind him, and that's been really good positioning and play from them. But yeah, it does make it scary that anytime Empire actually shows opposite side of the map without BOTs immediately ready, because you're going to have to stack some TPs. It just, I don't know. It gets awkward pretty quickly. We're going to see that just force into the pit here, going essentially man mode with the double damage and the weave.
Yep. Sing Sing just using a Sprout for some vision here. Gets a dagger off onto Zeus as well. Bone 7. Not going to commit over the cliff to chase him down. Dire have got a Hawk here, so they do see inside to the pit, at least to some extent here. They see a lot of what's going on. They see Roche starting to get low. Will they make an engagement here? Kaipi, they kind of back off for now. They got Roche very low. They're just waiting for some treants that seems to tank it up. And the Hawk, they know it's there. They get the Blink Scream, though. Deny a lot of the vision here. He goes Ramsey. The BKBOD goes on Bone 7. No Grave in time. They burst him down, but he buys back with a Haunt. This could be the turnaround, though. What a hero to have a buyback on. Instantly back in the fight. They're going to chase down the Black Hole. Only catches the Zeus, who gets banished. They should still be able to finish him off now. Bone 7 trying to chase down Beastmaster. They do end up getting scanned on the Zeus. It comes at the cost of the Queen of Pain, though. Bone 7 getting 1 kill. King R, TP out. Should be A-okay. And Roshan will be secured for Kaipi. Wow, man. Roche is sitting on 200 HP the entire time. What the hell's going on?
It's ridiculous, but I feel like Empire, again, making the mistake of stacking their disables. Doom and Roar have been on the same target almost every time, and I think that's a shot-calling error. That's somebody saying very vaguely, we need to shut down so-and-so. You just call hero names, and you're not actually coordinating who's doing what. Yeah. So you see that they waste abilities on the first life of the Spectre, and she comes back full force with the buyback haunt. Just perfect. Now they've got the Roche, now they've got the base pressure, and Empire have no cooldowns.
Similarly, some of the big cooldowns for Kaipi also missing. You haven't got the Haunt or the Black Hole. Even Sonic Wave can be on cooldown, but yep, swap in, Sing Sing. Needs to be careful. I believe he actually does. Yeah, he's got buyback though, and again, similar to the Spectre, if he goes down, he can instantly TP back in. They've taken the tier 3 tower, and they're going to get to work on the racks now if they want to. Bone 7 has got Aegis. Will get roared up. It looks like they want to go for this one a very early grave, perhaps a bit too early. As Bone 7 will get Astral. Should go
they
down.
Get the Doom here. This could be a huge opening. The Pushka drops down to 35 HP. But he's still alive, and I don't think Sing is going to dive the base for him.
I don't think so either, but Queen of Pain arriving, so push could continue, but Cancel says, look, I haven't got Sonic Wave. Haunt's coming up soon. Black Hole's still on cooldown. Let's just calm things down here. We've got the late game. Not just in like the hard carry sense, but in like the ability just to push out these lanes. We go back to that big problem of who actually pushes out against the Aghanim's Nature's Prophet, and there isn't really a good hero to do so, and that's going to remain a big problem for this Team Empire side.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like you're fighting some, like, 2 extra racks down from the beginning just because of how much continuous pressure you're facing now from the Axoc Doreen, and they just don't have the clear. It's going to be, I mean, long build-up. I could still consider, like, Beastmaster building up one of those clearing items. Non-traditional, of course, but you need to get something. Otherwise, you just don't get to... The furthest you get from your base is Roshan.
We'll see what the next move's going to be. It looks like Ramsey as well as Afterlife are just looking for pickoffs. Using that Hawk to scout over the trees. Got the Blink Roar. You've got the OD. You can blink in as well. But no heroes to be found.
It's really tough. I mean, like, you've seen time and time again that Empire love to make this kind of backstab into the Radiant jungle, into the bottom part of the lane where somebody's farming, and they've had great success with it. There are so many kill opportunities there because you usually have your most vulnerable person kind of farming in that southern part of the map, but Empire have all this lane pressure to deal with, and they have to play defensively. And a lineup that needs to be offensive strategically, but is forced to play defensively because of Kaipi's capabilities, it makes for a lack of a win condition for Empire. Kaipi have so many ways that they can close this one out over the next 20 minutes, and Empire, I'm not seeing it unless there's a bit of a throw.
And they're just kind of itemizing to deal with some of those big ultimates. These single target Doom as well as Roar. They've got one Lincoln's already in Queen of Pain. It looks like Mad's going for a second on the Enigma. He's been one of the main targets of both those ultimates, and they're just going to look to protect themselves as well as teammates using these, and that's where life can get pretty difficult for Team Empire. They can't rely as much on these big spells, or at least they can't use them maybe when they want to. They've got to wait for someone like Zeus to get in range for a Lightning Bolt. Speaking of Zeus, takes a lot of damage from a Nature's Prophet, Wrath of Nature.
And they're pinging out. They know a ward's somewhere, but look at how this ward. This is not the one you're expecting.
Oh, yeah. I guess with the Zeus, it's maybe a little easier to find those obscure wards. Like if he tries to like scout the lane, he may catch a glimpse of vision of it. But
Sure.
problem with Zeus is like his team's like, oh, come to ward. He's like, man, I got to push out this top lane. Like, do you want this top lane pushed out or not? Like, again, Empire just in this endless loop where there's too much this Zeus needs to be doing. He needs to be on the map, getting aggressive, providing his DPS at kills. He needs to be back top, pushing out this lane, and it's just not looking possible. Man, this Doom is actually poor. I mean, I feel bad because I remember talking to the draft like, oh, Doom, he can kind of transition to a semi-carry. That's not happening. This Doom is just in absolute poverty right now. Still sitting on just drum sprinkles at 34 minutes in.
Yeah, and it's not going to get much better for him. He's going to have Vladimir's, but other than that, he doesn't have really much long-term trajectory. For
I don't
his
even know if
next
it's worth
set.
getting Vlad's. I feel he may pick up like a Blink Dagger or something instead.
Yeah, I can see that.
You get a lot more out of like a Blink,
I would
Shadow Blade.
I would go Force Staff instead of Blink, because it might be less initiation, but you can break a linkage with it.
Sure. Yep. Absolutely.
Because you don't have the level depth to do that anymore.
Yeah. They do have the actually ATOS. That's one of the better items and ways to break those links, and something I didn't fully consider, but we'll see how that comes into play. Astral being used to push out lanes, that's when you know your entire time's like, oh, let's just Astral this creep wave for the AoE damage. And Diffusal now picked up by Spectre. So Diffusal Manta, a pure quote-unquote fighting build coming out from Bone 7.
Bone 7's actually been lacking in farm, and I would probably have to say it's Sing Sing's fault. Like, the amount he's Wrath of Naturing is obviously
100%.
dictating the course of the game and forcing Empire to stay in one position, but it also means that Bone 7 only has the jungle to work with.
Yep. I don't disagree at all, and if he's been finding kills. You look at a score on like 8, 3, and 12 on Spectre, but let's look at these CSs. 140 CS on Spectre, Nature's Prophet 278. I mean, the carry for Empire, you're looking at 300 CS on OD. Even the Enigma has more raw. Enigma and Quap both have more raw CS than Bone 7. So I think there's definitely some blame. Well, at least not. Maybe blame is the wrong word to use because it's obviously the Kaipi overall.
Nah,
gameplay.
blame Sing Sing. Come on.
Yeah. Right. Well, let's blame Sing Sing. Sure, why not? But all of his teammates have more CS than him. The Quap does. The Enigma does. So it's very much Bone 7 saying, "Oh, you guys, I don't need farm. I'll just fight. I'll game." He's almost like the decoy carrier. Like you focus too much on shutting him down, but realistically, he's not the one that Kaipi even cares much about putting farm on.
Roar top.
Ooh, Sing Sing is being caught out. There's going to be a Haunt look used to try and counterplay this one. Grave comes in as well. Sing Sing's still alive for now, going for the TP out, and King R won't get the stun off. He tried to turn and go for it, but he got burst down too quickly. Luckily for Beastmaster, managed to blink to the north. His TP on cooldown though, and I think Kaipi maybe know this because he TP'd onto the Hawk. Matt, is he going to look to cut down some trees? Sing Sing still scouting. Can they catch him? He gets another blink out. The 4-star through. They're so close to finding him. He gets another Axes off, and it looks like he will be home free. Oh, nope, they didn't catch vision just yet. Bone 7 daggering over the cliff here. Afterlife, another blink out. Cue the Benny Hill music.
Underground Railroad here, man.
Oh.
He's digging his way through.
They catch vision, but he's TP'd. They finally get vision, but it's as his TP comes off cooldown. Oh, fun stuff at the top lane. Nicely played by Afterlife to get away from the very persistent chase of Kaipi. Bone 7 actually could see a gank come his way. Smoked up Beastmaster right after TPing top. He probably thinks he has a bit of breathing room after the Beastmaster was just chased out of that top lane, but he was chased out of the top lane towards bottom where Doom leads things off the Atos to follow, and the TP's coming a very far away. Bit of time will be bought by the Sandy's Eclipse, but Bone 7's got a way out for this one. He doesn't have a buyback as well. He'll spend his money on an Ogre Club before he goes down, and that'll be the end of that.
Yeah, they really just don't want to take any chances, but I don't feel like they can get all that much done in the process. Sing Sing just goes top lane, keeps Wrath of Naturing, keeps on slowing that push down. They might get a tier 2 tower off of that Spectre pick, but
on the other side, you've got Queen of Pain with the help of the Nature's Prophet ultimate getting a pick off on Beastmaster. And again, Empire are going to have to back off. They've got Treants in mid lane, Treants in top lane. They've got to defend against this relentless Nature's Prophet army just pressing in all 3 lanes, and you've got the Nature's Prophet pushing the lanes, and then the Queen of Pain looking for the pickoffs with the help of the Spectre, when Spectre's alive, that is.
I mean, look at how many wards they have right next to the Dire base. The Zeus just actually cannot deward, and it's almost stubbornness that prevents the Beastmaster from picking up a gem to deal with it.
And typically you'd look at this and be like, oh, Zeus is not playing his hero entirely correctly. He should be bolting more. He should be trying to de-ward, but I don't even think you can really say that about this game. He's just been on constant defense duty. Lincolns will get proc to in the mid lane, won't get the Astral off, just the Rod of Atos coming out. And again, Nature's Prophet spams out the ultimate, takes away Paul Bonechan's farm, and things like, oh man, you're dead anyways, what's it matter? It doesn't matter. And these lanes
Better get used to it, you're playing Spectre.
It's like Spectre, you respawn, it's like, where do you go when you respawn? He's going to TP bottom and go into his own jungle, but even his jungle's been mostly taken and cleared. There's nowhere for him to go when he respawns. It's such a sad sight. Sing Sing TPs to where he is and summons some Triads. Oh. It's truly a sad Spectre.
This is actually just a little bit overkill at this point.
Sing has 7k gold.
It might be a game that they're playing Monkey in the middle with both 7, where he cannot farm a single creep.
At some point, like, you need farm on the Spectre, and Prophet's maxed out, and your Prophet gets maxed out too early. He continues to take more farm on the map by nature. He's pushing out lanes. You want to be doing that.
Hex. So yeah, he's definitely getting close to that point, but they're gonna actually go bottom.
It's down Doom, and this Doom, no escape. Has a swap. He does have escape in the form of King Eye with a swap, but I don't think, King Eye's not even going to go for it. I think he looks at it like, hey, I swap him, he's going to maybe taunt and get the kill anyways, and then we lose 2, so not worth potentially 2 casualties.
And he's going to go for the Hex play? No, he's going mid. Sing Sing just continues to push, and as soon as he finds an opportunity, he's got this 15-second cooldown, and he can just shift Q a Blink Hex.
Exactly, so definitely keep an eye on what he's going to be looking to do as far as catch goes now for the side of Kaipi. Roshan has respawned, and well, we are seeing Kaipi, the first time in this best of 3 series, actually get Roches and Aegises for themselves. Empire looking to march in and contest this one once again. They've even committed the Doom buyback. Goodbye any hopes of item progression for Doom. Perhaps can go for something like a small, stable Blink Dagger, but missing on 900 gold and not much else to work around. And again, the Nature's Prophet Treants pushing in bottom, pushing in mid, pushing in top. This time even Sing Sing will TP into the top lane. Will force a Zeus response. A TP from Beastmaster as well. Nope, that'll be cancelled. He wants to stay around this Roshan pit.
They're losing their rain tracks in the meantime. Like, they're taking Roche and taking the enemy base at the same time. It's so hard
Empire
to
have to decide. They've got to commit to something. Like, we're going to contest Roche or we're going to defend our base. They can't... Right now, they're trying to do both, and they're just getting split apart by Kaipi.
And I think Kaipi are perfectly patient. They're perfectly willing to just wait it.
They also gave up Roshan, so I don't know if that actually ends up working out too well for them. At this point, it's really the melee Raxes which are going to end up mattering more too.
I think that was just a vision issue. They blinked into the pit. But
Afterlife, he's blinked in aggressively, gets blown up to start the fight off. Selenia on the front lines. Ramses, he's got an Aegis, will self-banish here. Misoshka gets off a Doom. It's onto the Enigma, which means they won't have to worry about a black hole for now. OD's died once, and I think they're just going to stay and hold their ground. Everyone is still almost fully healthy, and there's Treants in the top lane. This is looking like a disaster. The BKB from the OD, he's probably looking for a way to drop his ultimate, but everyone's spread out. He's got no target. The Beastmaster's bought back, coming for a Raw to Sing, but again, they've got no follow-up, and OD drops the ultimate, does not get the kill on the cancel, who does get graved up, probably unnecessarily, but either way, better safe than sorry, and now it's Scandal, next in line for the chopping block. Bone 7 takes him out, double kill for Bone 7, great kiting, great just constant sustain coming out from the Kaipi side, and Empire just couldn't coordinate their spells there.
I cannot believe that they tried to take that fight. I mean, maybe it's a little bit of desperation or frustration with how the game has gone of the past 40-some minutes, but that was an impossible fight. I mean, going into that choke point, even if you get the Doom on the Queen of Pain or the Enigma, the other one's going to wreck you. Like, that is actually impossible to go into, and yet they tried for it. We will see. Nice little imprisonment help out, but it's
for
not
now.
Enough.
Okay, the 4-staff will push him a bit further away, but they're just going to go in the racks. The Glyph is available, and Team Empire, less the Glyph, it's more how do you take this fight. Bone 7 going to get swapped in. He's the target they want. Gets glimmered up as well. He gets pulled back to safety, and they're holding on to their melee racks for now, but they really need kills off of the Sing Sing. Hexes sprouts the Doom in the front lines, and then just blinks himself a little bit further back. Odie's going in aggressive, has got a cheese here, so does have some defensive capabilities, but no ultimate. Will he be able to go for this one?
They're so clumped. It's perfect. 3-man black hole at the very
Mad,
least here.
here we go. He's got 3, he's got 4. Beastmaster blinked into it. Scandal, his bolt on cooldown does not get the cancel, and Mad, I think he actually popped the Lincolns with it. Mad gets off the black hole of a life, making up for perhaps some game 1 blunders. But even so, Empire get a lot of kills, but instant response is a triple buyback. Kaipi want to end this game. They get the 5th kill, and it's good game. They may have not had the best team fight, but it was a fantastic black hole, and the buybacks are enough to beat Empire into the ground, into submission, and puts Kaipi into the quarterfinals here of the European qualifiers.
It's just fatigue that takes Empire down to the end. They, whether exhausting their mana pools by trying to push out lanes, or exhausting their buybacks, just trying to stay in these fights, they can't keep it up, and in the end, Kaipi do take this one away, 2-1. I mean, looking at the draft, I still feel like there was a lot of potential for Empire to start running things over. The Doom wasn't the most aggressive pick, but it definitely had the potential to win that bottom lane. A couple of miscalculations from between Miposhka and maybe Afterlife definitely gave Spectre a better start than we expected, and from there, Kaipi were able to execute extremely well, rat this game out immaculately, and they're going to be able to take it. That was, I mean, I won't even really hold the last 2 fights against Empire. It really comes down to their state of mind at that point. They realize that they've been losing for the past 40 minutes. What do the last 2 fights matter?
I really think you nailed it when you said, like, at some point you just get so frustrated dealing with a Nature's Prophet that you're going to make those bad decisions because it's so hard to make stable, rational choices. You get put in these positions where you're under pressure constantly. 30 minutes straight, it never eases up. You never get breathing room to stop and think like, oh, what are we going to do when this situation happens? Every 30 seconds, you've got to respond to some new presence on the map.
Really tough run, Empire. They played it really well. Game 1 looks like their game for the vast majority of it, and of course Game 2 they were able to take it, but Kaipi here proved that the better team, at least for now. They'll take it and move forward.
Alright, well that does it. We've got another best of 3 coming up. Power Rangers going to be taking on Pro Dota. I'll be saying goodbye and passing off the mic to Zyclops, but you guys can stay tuned if you want to continue watching some Starlight I-League Invitational qualifiers for Europe. One of these teams will be representing Europe to compete for $100,000 in Kiev with the invited teams. Stay tuned, guys. More Dota 2 action coming your way after this.
E-Gaming Bets. We accept bets on computer games online since 2011. Referral system for regular users and the first deposit bonus. Gaming devices store and the best choice of payment systems. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, Counter-Strike and StarCraft, World of Tanks and League of Legends. EGB.com. You know for sure who's going to win.